The Sunday Sequence Break.
And welcome to episode 143 of the Sunday Sequence Break. Yeah, no, that's up. I couldn't think of a number.
That's correct.
Thing. My only number one would have been is one less than 12 squared, but I feel like I should have saved the 12 squared thing for next week, where that is actually 12 squared. Otherwise, it would just be the week after would be it's 1 over 12 squared, and then 2 over 2, and then we'd just keep going until we get to 13 squared. But anyway, doesn't matter. This week, it's Xenogears. That's right. You guys are probably thinking, boy, is it a Xenogears episode? And the answer is yes. Yes, it is. It's a Xenogears episode. Joining me on the Xenogears episode, we have Rudyxx.
Hello.
We have LCC.
Hello.
Which I'm going to probably call you LLC.
Yeah,
multiple times during this. That's okay.
About 70% of the time, that's what people call me, so it's good.
Yeah. They have that too in North America land. Limited liability companies.
Indeed.
Sure. All right, good. And then we have Cordellium.
Hi, how's it going?
Okay, good. You are. I was really panicking because I hadn't heard you speak, and I was like, this could be a Feasel joke where he just throws this random name in the title and I read it. That's a good idea. We should do that. We should say to Gilda one time, like, Gilda, you're going to be lead host on this show. Oh boy! And then we'll just put this name in the title. It's not here. And we got huge ass. Oh, there you go. All right. Now, some of you may have noticed that we didn't have a show last week. That's on us for not organizing one. Oh, wait, did we? We didn't. No, we didn't have one. Don't try to trick
sure?
me.
I was here last week.
You're a tricky dick.
We read out a bunch of records. We did a game of the week.
Oh shoot!
Yep.
Oh,
what game was
yeah,
it,
I remember.
It was some kind of dragon-based shmup. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, we did Panzer Dragoon Auto. No, it was Panzer Dragoon Auto. We did it last week.
Oh, you're right.
We finally found some Panzer Dragoon runners. We didn't think they existed. And
I don't remember being here last week.
In the scale of a week, it was like we went from not knowing them at all and who they were up to knowing all about them and their game, and it was really good. It was a really good one last week, actually. It was great. Didn't know all that Panzer Dragoon tech is really interesting. Anyway,
yeah, that's true.
Speaking of interesting, Feasel,
Me?
you better been doing something interesting in the last not 2 weeks.
Otherwise, that would be a big lie. Your
Right.
your segue there.
Wait, we're perpetrating. It'll be a team effort.
Team lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this past week, oh man, what did I do? I can't remember. Oh, I played Zelda 2. That's right. I played a bunch of Zelda 2. That was fun. I was trying to decide what category I wanted to do, and I just watched a bunch of videos from various runners, and I decided I wanted to try the any percent with up A. See if I could improve my PB on that. And so I've basically been working on that, although it's every time I sit down and want to do attempts, I end up thinking, oh man, I should change the route and tweak this and change that around, and oh man, I wonder what if I just did this in a different order. And so I probably spent more time just planning and route testing and stuff than I did actually, running attempts with the timer. But I don't know. Maybe that'll change next week when I run out of different things to try.
Yeah. Didn't you? I know you talked about this last week as well.
Yeah.
But you should probably mention it again. But Best of NES as
Oh,
well
sure.
happened.
Yeah, that's true. That happened last Saturday. The Big 20 race, the second Big 20 race happened. And lo and behold, the winner was Toad.
Yeah. Who was second? Do you remember?
Who was second? Oh, I don't. I think I know, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. So let me just put it up on this.
I know who was fourth.
Who was fourth?
Lemon SX was
Lemon was
fourth.
fourth. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Lemon was
Infested
fourth,
Rich
which
was second. That's what. And
Oh, really?
Primal,
Infested
yeah,
Rich.
Primal
And Primal
85
third.
was third.
There you go.
You're right. Lemon was fourth. You're
Yeah,
right.
he got the best time in Arkanoid.
You got the best time in Arkanoid. Okay.
Yeah, because someone did a cool spreadsheet of
Yeah.
all the times everyone got in every game and where that placed them in the thing.
Yeah, he did. He got
And,
39 seconds in Arkanoid.
Yeah, and it was the only time he was in the top 3 for any game,
Yeah, just
and he
looking
came
at.
fourth.
It was the only time he was in the top 3. Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah.
I'm looking, and it doesn't look like anybody got a time that. Well, I mean, obviously, if that's the first place time, but I don't look. Looking at these times, I don't think anybody got the warp manipulation.
He was saying to that, and he was like, "Dude, this is so easy. This warp manipulation's so easy." And he was talking about it, so I'm glad he got it.
Yeah,
'Cause
well, I
didn't
mean, a
think it
bunch
was
of
meant
us
to be
were
that easy.
Right. Well, a bunch of us were trying it, and we came to the conclusion that this isn't so bad. But yet, during the race, I'm not seeing a single time that's less than 2 minutes. So the fact that he did it in 39 seconds, yeah, pretty crazy. Okay, but that's a lot of discussion of Arkanoid, which has nothing to do with my weekly recap. So I'll just finish up by saying that I did SGL episode on Thursday and another one yesterday, and those were both a lot of fun. And other than that, I sprained my ankle, so I actually haven't been doing much, besides sitting down in front of my computer this week. So it's been a pretty boring week, really. Except for all the work I did on various gaming-related stuff, so I guess that's good.
Sounds like living the dream to me, man.
Right, exactly. What was I doing walking around with the use of my legs? Come on.
Overrated, I think.
Completely overrated. You don't need your legs to speedrun.
Unless you're speedrunning with just your legs.
Right. Yeah, that DDR world record, I'm never going to be able to take it at this rate. All right. Well, Flicky, my friend, are you there? Oh, we lost him.
Dang.
That's too bad.
Gone.
Is he hiding?
Lost
He
in the
left
void.
us.
Yeah, it looks like his internet pooped out on him or something. All right, well, we'll just skip right past him. I can give you Flicky's recap for the week. So, what day is it?
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday
nope.
sequence break.
I didn't do anything this week. Next, Rudy. So what have you been up to this week? Wait, is it Rudyxx or Rudyxx? Before I...
It's Rudyxx.
Rudyxx,
Or you can just call
okay.
me Rudy. I don't really care. Either one's fine.
All right, I'm going to go with Rudyxx, though, because I like the way that sounds.
All right, thanks. Well, first I speedran some Panzer Dragoon Orta. After last week's episode, I really thought about picking that game back up again and just kind of blazed through that one a few times. Actually, I haven't done any speedrunning in like a month.
Nice.
Mostly just been doing real life stuff, making cosplay. The con scene is picking up for all the summer cons, so don't really have time to do anything but so.
All right. What would you say your next project's going to be when you do start speedrunning again?
I don't know. I kind of want to pick back up Tenereza. It's a silly little Japanese RPG with a bunch of cute anime characters. Thinking about getting through that. I ratted it out, but I never actually did runs because the final dungeon is an hour of you just running in a straight line fighting enemies, and which is the most boring thing of all time. But the first hour and a half of the game is you actually playing a game. So I may just to have a video of a full run, just so people will stop asking me what happens in the final dungeon. So I might get back into that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's sort of a pre-cap instead of a recap, but I'm glad we talked about it. Okay. Well, LCC, what about you? What's your week been like?
I've been basically routing Musashi 2 on the PS2, the unloved game. A lot of people have been running Musashi 1 on the PS1 lately, and then I decided to try and check out if there was actually one for the second game, and there wasn't. So I decided, hey, let's just pick it up and route it. So I've been working on that quite a bit for the past few days, and it's difficult because you're always under leveled or not doing much damage to anything, because the leveling system kind of goes, you kill a lot of enemies and you level up sort of thing, but you're trying to skip everything. So it's tough to figure that out, but I think it's doable. So I'll probably have one figured out by like next week sometime, do a run of it. That's about it, really.
All right. Well, let's see. And Cordellium, what have you been up to this week?
I've actually been working a lot on routing 100% Xenogears speedrun, and maybe we can get into that more later, but
Okay.
It's been interesting so far, to say the least. Besides that, I've just been working on some Chrono Cross notes, because I want to learn that as my next speedrun game here this summer, but that's coming along slowly, so hopefully it picks up. But yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, you win the prize that you actually mentioned Xenogears in your recap of the week.
Oh, what is the prize?
Flicky's got it for you. When he gets back, he'll give it to you.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right.
Just ask him.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We were going to definitely save time in the split because we did the Flicky skip. So look at that time savings. Uh-oh.
Gee, sure it's lucky I didn't offer to do the broadcast today.
Oh man, never mind.
Wow.
Flicky skip canceled.
No, I had stuff to talk about. It's not fair. You know,
I
the
did
really
your
interesting
recap. It
thing-
was very flattering.
The interesting thing is that my router had a green light on it as a wirer, and I've never seen a green light. So I checked the manual, and it doesn't say anything about a green light. So I'm worried, but you know, it's fine. Internet seems to be back. Did they finish theirs, or am
Oh,
I
yeah.
interrupting
It's
someone?
just you. No,
Oh.
we're done.
Oh, okay. Well, hang on. Let me be brief then. Did ESA stuff, organizing for ESA, practice some Dragon's Crown. We improved our run to a time which we think is actually approaching good. So that's a start. I probably could have submitted it for this, but we were expecting to beat it again, but then we didn't play. And then also did the Final Fantasy 13 Relay trilogy relay yesterday.
Awesome. How'd that go?
Which was really fun. Yeah, my team won, dude. Would you believe it?
Excellent work.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we won by 33 minutes or something like that.
So I guess your plan worked then, of not telling anybody in real
Pretending.
time.
I actually did tell them my real time, which was it was good. My suggested average time was very accurate. I was 2 seconds behind it. I got really good RNG in my run and executed badly because for whatever reason I was very nervous in the run and I made a bunch of silly mistakes. And I really wished I had that RNG when I wasn't nervous because I would have PB'd by probably 10 minutes. But anyway, it was really good fun. My team won. Svansig, Mr. Svansig, Lou Dolphin, and myself. Team Metro, we won. So that was good. We won by a bunch. I got the fastest time in Lightning Returns, although that was more due to RNG than it was due to my play, but I don't care.
No one
I
has
didn't
to
mess
know
up
that.
awfully. Yeah, I didn't mess it up so badly that I lost the race for my team. So that was good. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do. I haven't really joined a relay race myself. I've never really been in a series where we would do it, but it was really good. And I decided that relay races are one of the best things that's happened to speedrunning in the last year. For sure. Not that I could really list that many other things, but ever since, I can't remember if it was the Ninja Gaiden relay or the Mega Man relay that was first. I want to say it was Ninja Gaiden. But ever since then, that's been a damn cool thing. Right, I think that's it.
Nice. Okay. That was
that's
pretty
it.
productive week.
Nice. Yeah, it was pretty good for me. And it just means I'm exhausted today because I went to bed at 4 a.m. yesterday. Right, now, let's talk about Xenogears. I have one quick question. Is this the game with the blue-haired lady?
No.
No.
You're probably
No.
thinking
Orange,
of
purple.
That's
Wait, Ellie,
I mean,
not Ellie, Deus at the very beginning has blue hair, I think. Then, like, naked blue-haired lady.
Am I
That's
thinking
purple.
of Xenogenesis? Am I? No, wait. What am I thinking of?
What are you thinking of?
What am I thinking of? It's a blue-haired person, famously blue-haired.
I'm pretty sure there aren't
Look up,
any blue-haired people in video games.
Hang on.
See if it's Lunar Eternal Blue.
It's gonna be
Or even Lunar One.
Xenosaga.
Wait, Xenosaga has blue
Yeah,
hair. girl.
Xenosaga.
Yeah,
Damn it!
Xenosaga.
I was
That's
so
true.
close.
Sir
Yeah,
Epic's guessed it.
wrong one. Yeah, never mind.
We could do
That's
that
Xenosaga. Cosmos. There you go.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Rudy's
This
run
is
that, so
this
We
is
could do that instead.
Xenogears. No. We're doing Xenogears. Now, for those of the people like me who are like, well, obviously no one else, but just me who was like, wait a second, we're not talking about Xenosaga? You need to tell us about Xenogears. What is it? Why is it so cool? I don't mind
well,
who does this.
alrighty, I'll just go at it. It's a RPG from, like, I don't know, 1997, 98, somewhere around there, by Squaresoft. It's really well known for being one of the longer RPGs. There's a lot of text. In fact, the speedrun is close to around 20 hours-ish. It's kind of really like has some like religious I don't know what the word is. There's a lot of like religious like themes mixed in with it.
Undertones?
Mhm.
Yeah, undertones. There you go.
Yeah.
It's got like many. There's some sections that are like 20 to 30 minutes of like just text. I think there's a spot in disc 2 that's like 45 minutes of like nothing but reading. So it's really mostly well known for being just like a graphic novel with some gameplay mixed in there. That's basically what it is. Actually, I think somebody originally timed, like they timed the actual gameplay versus in one of UG's old runs versus the actual text or whatever, and it was like 60% of the game was text, and then the other 40% was actual gameplay. So it's not too bad, but when it's
Wait, does that gameplay include running?
Yes, and like
If you
loading
take out
screens
running and
stuff,
text, yeah.
it's probably like
It's fine, I know that. Lightning Returns is probably about 12 minutes of fighting in a 2.5 hour game.
Yeah.
There you go. Right, so PS1 Squaresoft, that's a pretty good start on the thing.
Yeah.
What's the speed?
yeah.
So you said 20 hours?
The current, well, it depends on, we'll actually get into later the kind of differences in the time. A good, like, I guess, like, good range to say it's anywhere from 15 to 20 hours, depending on the version and some other stuff. Text
I would
speed.
say
and-
15 is a little bit low. It'd probably be more like
well, the Japanese run is
18.
about 15 hours.
Right.
The English run, yeah, the Japanese run is like 15 hours. The English run is around 18 hours. So it's, I guess, like somewhere in there.
with this amount of text. If you're going with the Japanese version, you're going to be saving quite a bit of time. Because the one thing about this game for timing, like the reason why the text is so long is because of how slowly it actually scrolls. Whereas some other games, there's just as much of it, but it scrolls so much faster that it ends up being a shorter run. That's one of the big reasons why this is so long to begin with. But for me, like a
it
lot
is
of the
pretty
cool things
slow
about this
scrolling
game,
text. That's one thing I've
Yeah.
noticed.
like you can actually read the entire story
Yeah.
by watching the speedrun. You can literally just sit down and watch it in a day and get the whole thing. But like the big things about this game I think are really cool is the fact that it has a lot of platform elements to it, because you can actually jump and has like free camera most of the time, doing stuff like that. The battle system has the gears versus being on the ground, so you have two different styles of battle system, and has like a combo system where you can pretty much use different types of attacks that use a different amount of stock that you've built up and things like that. So
The gears are mechs, right?
yes,
They're the-
Yeah.
exactly.
they're the mechs.
Correct.
Okay, good. Okay. They've always got a different name in the Japanese thing. They can't just be called mechs, can they? They have to be called something. It's
It
not
gets worse
allowed.
in Xenosaga. Each one of the games has a different name for them. So like the whole Xeno series just uses different names for the mechs.
Yeah, AGWS, man, that's the best.
That's-
They abbreviate it and say eggs every time.
Eggs. It's the classic thing. There's always a acronym all the time, and they always list it out in full, and then they shorten it, and you're like, oh, okay, it's just BAT. All right, I can do that. Okay, so now I'm going to assume that there's any percent is literally all you're going to do with such a long game, right?
There's any percent, but there's glitched and glitchless. And then, of course, Cordellium's been routing out 100%.
Don't say it.
I'm saying,
Oh,
I'm saying in
you said
quotation. There's big quotations in there. Arbitrary 100% category. That I'm sure he'll talk about later on.
So we're going to do a 20-hour TSSB episode, right, to fit this all in?
No, I tried to pick just some key points so that anybody just learning the game just needs to know about.
Okay, so yeah, tell us about the history of this thing, because I imagine this is one of the games, like a lot of JRPGs, where people really like it, but it's just so long it kind of puts a lot of people off. What's the history of it? How many people have done it?
Well, actually, it ranges back as far as like 2003, 2004. Some Japanese runners basically went through and did some runs of it that were around 19 hours or so, which of course is like 4 hours longer than what it is now. And then like kind of fast forward to around 2011, 2012, I decided to pick up the game, and I was like, all right, let me see what I can do here. And I started doing some research on it, and I found this guy, Live UG, had been doing a lot of work on it and had managed to get it down to, I think, 18 something in Japanese. And he and I started kind of working together to figure out different things, like the money route especially, and some other stuff. Got it down a little bit, and then Cadmoni came along, who's a French runner. He basically just like decided he wanted to write a guide for people to learn how to speedrun the game, and he wrote it all in French. Well, there's not a lot of, like, French is not exactly one of those languages that's used throughout the world. So I kind of worked with him to try and translate it back into English, as well as work on the route itself. Eventually he came up with like this 130-page guide or something like that. It's a really neat guide, and I don't know if one of you guys wants to link it in chat just so people can look at it as we go through this. But that kind of worked out for a while. He has various different versions. Eventually he came up with a version he was pleased with, and released it out to everybody. And then a few other people decided to run it. I know Cordellium's been running it recently. There was also Impartial Mouse, I think was the guy's name, or Imperial Mouse. Can't remember. There's
I like Impartial Mouse.
I think it's Impartial Mouse. There's been probably around 11 or 12 different people that have done runs at one point or another. I know Johan Howitzer, who's in chat, ran it for a little while, but I don't know if he used our route. I think he came up with like his own route or something. But there's been quite a number of different people that have run it over time. I think Sean Cass runs it as well, I think. He's also in chat.
Mm-hmm.
There's a real interesting thing recently where the longer games have started to be run. I'm thinking of like, I want to say it started with, but Karakan really like was one of the people I recognize are doing it. Now there's every day you watch someone, there's going to be doing runs of like 8 to 15-hour games every day. Like Nevius is another one I know who did like 4 Persona runs in a week that were like 18 hours. So it's like, it happens now. I don't know, sort of, I guess with Twitch streaming, I can't imagine many people would have wanted to do it without Twitch.
I don't think so. Like 10 years ago, it was almost unheard of to even think about running a game that's more than 3 hours.
SDA had that rule for a long time where they wouldn't have any games on their website that were longer than 7 hours or something like that.
Unless
and
it
then
was Skies of Arcadia.
Yeah, eventually Skies of Arcadia got on there, so more and more people started getting slowly interested in doing some of these longer runs. Just kind of Twitch definitely has helped with that.
What's the record at the moment as it stands? So I guess English and Japanese different categories because of text. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that a good assumption?
Yeah, I think the world record, I think Live UG still has the Japanese run. It's like 15 or 16 hours. I'm not sure on the exact time. And then I have no idea who has the English record anymore. I know Cadmoni had it for a while.
I believe he still does.
Yeah, there's some drama. We'll go into that when we get into the model comparisons and stuff, because it's yeah,
That's
it's
like
hard to say.
that's a meme almost now. The model comparisons.
Yeah. There's a it has full anime cutscenes. What?
Yeah,
How
with
many
the best
discs was
dubbing.
this for the record?
Just 2 discs.
Oh, it's just 2. Okay, impressive. All right, I was just gonna say, anytime a run's over 16 hours, I'm just impressed because I'm normally not awake that long. Like I would have to specifically stay up longer in that day. Like I kind of wish I could. I did a 12-hour run once. That was playthrough. That was fun. So I can't imagine that. What's it like? I just want to know what's it like playing for that long.
Good question. I think
did
the longest I've ever done in a run was like 12 hours, but it's definitely something very special.
Well, before people start laughing, like I routed out, what was it, World of Warcraft, and I did runs of that, like quote unquote runs of that, which was like 4 days long, basically. You just have to, like where I used to live, the apartment I lived in had a bathroom basically in the same room as where I was playing everything. So I just had wireless everything. So if I just had to go to the bathroom, I just wheeled my keyboard and that kind of thing into the bathroom. Like whenever. And I just
That's
made
some real optimism. It's a small place, yeah, there's a toilet right there, but it means I can speedrun longer.
Well, I stopped running Xenogears when I moved because I didn't have a bathroom close by anymore. But it was one of those things where like had to prepare food beforehand and like the right types of food. You can't just eat like a bunch of like carbs and stuff like that. You have to eat like things that are high in things like malic acid and stuff like that, or niacin and B12, stuff like that.
Healthy stuff.
Yeah, like
when I prepped
carrots
for a
and-
blind race that I thought was going to be like 12 hours but ended up being 6, I had a bunch of like nuts and raisins and water, and I was fully prepped, and then it was like 6 hours long, and I was like, oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah. All right, so now tell us about the game and the run then. So it's a long run, but what have you got in the way of like techniques and so on? Like what's the basic method for playing the game? I don't mind. Does Cordellium want to take this? I'm not sure if I've heard.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I can speak a little bit on it.
Go
So
for
the
it.
basis of the run, once we get past, say, about the halfway point, we rely heavily on what is called ether doublers. And basically, you can only buy these before a certain point in the game. And what ether is in Xenogears is essentially like magic in any other game. So you got your magic and your magic points. You got ether and ether points in this game. But basically, what this item does, or accessory rather, is it doubles the amount of ether that you have. So it basically just makes essentially all the gear fights extremely easy. Like I would say the gear fights themselves are probably the easiest parts of the run. You know, there are a few little optimizations for certain fights that say if you have higher ether, you're able to get through them quicker. But by and large, the gear fights are some of the easiest parts of the run. Did you have anything to add, Rudy?
No, that's basics of it right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I could talk about like what's going on like with the battles that we actually saw in the video there. So like
sure.
to
It gives
progress
a
in the
general
game with-
overview of like how to battle quickly, I guess.
Yeah, like what you actually saw, he was doing single triangle attacks. So you have
Well, hold on.
3 different. Yep.
Down the lower left of the video, you can see where he's got T1, 22, and X4. That's actually something you need to keep track of like early on in the game, which LCC is going to go into. But that's what those numbers are down there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. So
That's not
you have
just the
3
file.
different buttons in battle that you use on foot to actually attack the enemies. So you have triangle to do a weak attack, square to do a mid attack, and X to do a strong attack. And there are different animations that can play depending on what order you actually press the buttons in. So the triangle button actually has 4 different animations that can happen. The square has 2 and the X has 1. And you progress through the game, you level up like most RPGs, that's pretty standard, but you also have death blows that you can unlock that are a combination of buttons you put in, and then it triggers a death blow. And you learn those death blows by how many of a specific button press that you actually do in the battle. So for the things at the bottom left, you see T1 is the first animation type of the triangle button. So in order to unlock the first death blow, he actually, I believe, needs 30 of those and then 10 X button presses. And so he's going to be keeping track of that. So you'll see he'll press triangle once and then back away, because the second triangle button in a row that you press will actually be the second animation. So it won't count towards learning the death blow for the first death blow in the game for Faye. So he'll be doing kind of single triangle attacks and then some X attacks mixed in to try and balance it out so they can level up the death blow to the right spot where he can actually learn it in time to get it for certain battles later. And
the battles are actually up to the point where you actually use them. Most of the battles are actually manipulatable to an extent. So like a lot of the fights he has, it's actually been mapped out like what's optimally which combo, like how you learn all the combos. So there's no excess grinding at all in this game.
yeah, exactly.
I would hope.
And
not,
one
if it was that
little
long.
thing about like when you play this game casually, one very important thing to note is if you actually do a death blow, the X attack doesn't count because it's actually triggering the death blow. So what a lot of people ended up doing when they play this game casually is they're trying to level up their death blows by using death blows, and it didn't really work out so well because you need a lot of X attacks. So you will end up using X's earlier in the combo, so you don't actually get a death blow for that reason.
So is a death blow like a usable skill, or does it trigger when you have these numbers?
It triggers
It's
when you do a
both.
certain button combination. So triangle
Okay.
X is a death blow once you've learned it.
Okay.
Well, once you learn it, you can also later on, when we get to Red ROM, you can actually use them individually as well. So you can do like triangle X for a death blow, or you can actually go in the menu and do just the death blow.
Okay. So then the combat's based around just using death blows, and then lots of ether. Do death blows use ether in the game?
No, the first half of the game, you're basically relying on death blows and a lot of math, essentially. And then once you get the ether doublers, you just kind of like steamroll everything with ether attacks.
Okay. Right. Okay, hang on. So yeah, do you want to go into anything? What else we got? General stuff. Fast movement and that. Like yeah, just sort of.
We can just go into like what I have here in the general techniques on the spreadsheet thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So just real quick, like when you first start this off, later in the game, your stats don't actually really matter at all because you're just, well, they kind of do, but not as much. But early on, you can actually get some really bad stat gains because when you gain a level, which stats you get for the sake of time, which stats you get are random. I don't want to go into too much on how they actually work, but like, so you can end up on certain bosses having not enough attack power or not enough ether power early on. Like one of the first few bosses you fight is this like worm, and you'll use an ether attack, and then your damage can range anywhere from I think 30 to 150 or something like that. So if you get bad stats, it can change a lot of the different mechanics for the first half of the game. But once you get the ether doubler, it like doesn't really matter at all. So you just kind of have to keep that in mind, especially CAD. In CAD Moni's notes, he actually kind of goes into in the battles where it really matters what to do in each situation if you get like low attack stat gains or high attack stat gains and that kind of stuff. So that's like really that, and then the whole death blow thing that LCC went into is really all the battle technique that you really need to know for the
Then
first
it's just
half.
about knowing what moves are good, I guess. Straightforward stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of like basically a lot of math done later on. So you in the battles that you can't just use ether to do like max damage or something like that, they have it figured out so that you have a certain amount of agility. Like your agility stat is static throughout the whole game, but you can get equipment to increase your agility, which makes you go faster. This game uses kind of an active time battle system similar to like the newer Final Fantasy, well, not kind of newer, like basically Final Fantasy 6 and on, like that active
Not that
time
new
battle system.
anymore.
Yeah, I'm super old, so it's, I don't know. But anyways, it uses a very similar system, but you can affect that by having higher agility. So we try to like basically do as much damage in as little amount of time as possible without having to like sacrifice, you sacrifice all your defense basically so that you have a high enough agility. So you have just the right amount of math to beat different bosses. And we'll go into which bosses that really matters on. I guess now would probably be a good time, a good segue into that. Feasel, if you want to pull up the Ramses fight. There's 3, like, they're generally known as like the run killers of this game. There's 3 fights, and then maybe I'll honorable mention another one that really gave me a hard time. But the Ramses fight is pretty simple in the fact that you have, it starts out as just Ramses and Bart like verse each other, and then Miang and Margie in the background will periodically heal. Miang will heal Ramses, I think, after his 3rd turn or 5th turn, one of those 2. So the idea is with Bart, you want to try and kill Ramses before Miang is going to heal him. But the problem with that is the fact that he can use this move called Mirror Stance. And in the video I have here, I picked this one because he actually uses Mirror Stance, which is the worst thing imaginable. Normally you would just do the same attack over and over again to beat Ramses, but when he uses Mirror Stance, you can actually manipulate Miang into not healing him by using Wild Smile, I think is what it's called, so that he receives an effect on him so that she'll cure the status rather than trying to cure him, which for a long time that was, this is 2 hours and 50 minutes into the run. A long time we didn't realize that, so when you got to this fight, if you Mirror Stance, it was a reset, like you were just done. Like there was nothing you really do about it. And then somebody eventually realized that you could just cast a status effect on him and she'll cure the status effect instead of doing that.
Is his name meant to be Rasmus?
It might be. Raz.
But
I have
it
no
says
idea.
Ramses, but is it meant to be Rasmus? Because
No, I think it's
Ramses isn't a name. And no, everyone else has
it's a
real
biblical-
names.
I think it's a biblical name.
Everyone else seems to have real names. That's what I was really
name.
questioning.
Ramses.
Wait, what is
Ram?
Miang? Miang's a real name?
Yeah, it
guess
sounds
it's like a
Chinese, doesn't
Asian.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, generic. But then Bart is.
Yeah.
That's definitely a real name. Faye, that's from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Alice, Van Houten. There's are real names that I can see.
But yeah, so this fight, in the first part, it's set up so that like Bart has basically a whole lot of agility, so that he's able to get in enough attacks before Ramses can, or before Miang would normally heal him. And in the second part, you have Faye with you, and it's the same thing again. You don't want to have Miang heal Ramses because she heals him for a ton, like way more health than you can really deal with. So one of the things you do is earlier on you end up buying, I don't remember if you buy or pick it up, but you end up getting a speed stat item, which is kind of like haste. So you not only do you have a ton of agility to begin with, like from all your equipment, but you also have haste on top of that. So Bart's able to get in a whole lot of extra turns over when Ramses would normally go. But once again, if he mirror stances, which is what I think he does in this video, you end up pretty much just getting screwed over, and you just have to try and like hope. And then going back into the stat gains, if Faye has high attack power here, you actually do a slightly different strategy than if he has a lower one. I think he had low attack power. You have 2 speed stars. I know in one scenario you end up using one of the speed stars. And if you don't end up using it here, then you end up using it later on in the run. But it's very exact and precise in the way the math works out with his damage and having Miang not heal him, essentially.
Are these death blows we're seeing now? These fancy
Yeah,
combos?
Senretsu and stuff. So you have to learn those moves before you get to this point in the game. Bart actually starts off with Rhythm Shock, so you don't have to have him learn anything. So he actually, there's a section before this where it's kind of like a stealth-ish section where you can avoid all the enemies there by some clever mechanics. So Bart really doesn't have to fight anything at all to get Rhythm Shock. But Faye, earlier on, when we were in the forest and like stuff, basically set up for this fight. I don't know, let's see, if there's really much else to that fight. It used to be a run killer just because of the way Miang works. It was really, really annoying when he would mirror stance, but it was, like I said, it was discovered within the past few months or so that you could just status effect him to avoid that. So it's not as bad as it used to be, but it still is pretty rough. Luckily, there's a save point like literally right before the fight, so it's not too bad.
Hey, where does that laser come from? He just shoots a
That's
laser? from his-
It's like a chi blast, like
Oh,
Dragon Ball Z
okay.
or something.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's called guided
I thought
chi.
he had like a magic laser ring or something, like a power ring, something like that.
Nah.
Okay, doke. Right.
So we'll do
let's
it.
talk.
I was gonna say the
Yeah.
next boss.
You got
that we'll
another
skip-
boss. Yeah, you got
except
2 bosses, right?
We have 3 bosses total. They're all the run killers. That's all that we'll really talk
You've
about.
got-
in terms
you've
of
got
bosses.
Red
The next
Rum.
piece- yeah, Red Rum.
Which
be
is
the
a
next
horse, right?
Kind of.
Is it
It's
a horse
also
in the game? I mean, it
very
was a
backwards.
horse in real life.
Oh, I don't
I'm
know.
not sure
Horse
what it is in the
famous for
game.
winning.
Yeah.
What did it? It won 2 races back to back or something. Maybe
Wow.
mysteriously disappeared as well. And Red Rum is definitely a racehorse famous for something. Someone in chat will correct me, or
Right.
Google it and then pretend they knew. But there you go. It's a horse in real life.
Cool. Well, Red Rum starts off the fight by he'll cast Confusion twice. So we actually, I don't know if we still get them, but we used to get items to prevent confusion for Satan and Faye. Rico, we don't really care because we'll just end up healing them regularly. But as you can see, we actually have the amount of HP over Red. UG was kind enough to add his HP to this video to kind of show people. When Red Rum gets to around 2,000 health, and then again at 1,000 health, what he does is this attack that just like completely devastates your party for this point of the game. Because you have nothing but basically speed stat items equipped instead of actual like regular equipment. You're pretty much just like a glass cannon at this point. So what we do to work around the 2,000 and 1,000 HP barriers is to store up your AP meter, which is like one of the bars up at the top. You can spend basically whenever you use an attack, like your triangle, X or square attacks, it costs a certain amount of AP per se, and whatever leftover AP you have spills over into that meter in the top. So like if you have 5 AP, or in this case, like Faye has 6 and Rico has 5 AP, we'll use 1 attack and then let the other 5 go into his AP bar. So when your AP bar gets to certain numbers, for Faye and Rico it's 25, and for Satan it's 16 to 20. We will unleash a combo so that we basically like go through the 2,000, 1,000 HP threshold so that we don't have to deal with those devastating attacks. Because recovering from those attacks it's not impossible, but it's really rough. So you actually have to do a lot of math. Cadmoni worked out a pretty consistent strategy where after you get Faye to, I think, 20 AP, you just keep doing Senretsu, which gives you 1 AP every turn. And then I think Rico goes all the way to 24, I believe. And then the same, Satan has to kind of heal periodically, so his builds up a lot slower. But the math...
I'm gonna guess Satan is the red dude at the back, right?
Yeah, Satan's the one in the green. Rico
really?
is it's like the green dude with the
The
orange
green
hair.
guy looks more like a Rico, I would say. I was surprised at that.
He's kind of the powerhouse for this fight. I don't know if Cordellium wants to add anything to this fight. There's a lot of like you have to kind of like keep track of a lot for this.
Yeah, well, like, one of the moves that Red Rum will do is called Bloody Rain. Like, he's using it right now, for instance. And what this does is it gives him more hit points. So if he does this, say, 3 or 4 times, you're going to be able to do a few extra death blows on Red Rum before you, so to speak, do the final assault, where you just unload everyone's AP.
So
Yeah,
the AP,
the combo-
are they different attacks then, right? Are they?
Yeah, they're almost to the point. I don't know. You can skip ahead like maybe 30 seconds or a minute if you want Diesel. And you'll see though that they use their death blows from a menu instead of
Inputting.
this.
No. You're basically just doing a bunch of death blows in a row, and they go extremely quickly. Like the animation is pretty much
Yeah.
half as long. So it's both going to be killing him really fast, but also the animations are really fast at the same time.
Yeah, like here Rico's doing his.
Wow, that's much faster.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that just
like
when
I
you
said-
pick them from a menu, or?
Yeah, but they call it, when you do it from a menu, it costs AP. And like I said, you have to build up AP by
Right, yeah.
having like spillover from your turns. So then, like I said, you end up skipping them by using combos, and that's how you end up being red run. Otherwise, this boss is like pretty much impossible. And then the last fight, if you want to just skip to Executioner, I'll have Cordellium kind of explain this one. This one's really RNG dependent, which is why it's a run killer. But there's not a whole lot to it. It's just there's some RNG, I guess.
Sure, so like the main thing about this fight is that we want to kill Executioner first, because she has a particular move that she'll use 100% of the time if she's not killed quick enough, and it will just decimate one member always. And the one thing we have to be also looking out for is Graph, because with Graph, he can either do a super guided shot, and this is what we would prefer him to do, because it doesn't completely kill a member. It just maybe requires some healing for Sighten, or from Sighten. But if he ends up using a death blow, because enemies in this game, they can have death blows too, like Graph and another enemy we fight earlier on called Id, they also have death blows. But yeah, we really, for the main strategy, we're looking for him not to use it. And I believe in this Uji video that we're looking at, he does have good RNG in this fight, and he just uses super guided shot. The other thing that we're seeing with this fight is that Sighten and Faye, they're using element affecting items. And what these are doing is it's making it so both Sighten and Billy, because Billy, he first has a weapon called Matchlock Arrow, and it basically makes it so a certain element, I forget which, it's either wind or earth or something, but it makes it so you do more damage. So we first cast these on Executioner, and then we have Sighten build up his AP. He ends up unloading on him once he gets to 25 AP with 5 death blow combos, and with Billy we just have him start out with one of his stronger death blow combos, and that pretty much always successfully will kill Executioner. And then again, for the rest of the fight, we're just looking for Graph to not use one of his death blows.
Yeah, and this fight is really rough, because as you can see from the timer in the upper right, it's almost 14 hours into the run. So it's some pretty bad RNG can really screw you over here.
It's exactly when you would want a run killing boss to be.
Yeah, there's actually a worse run killing boss that's later on, but it's more so, I don't know, we may have time, we probably won't have time for me to mention that when we get to glitches. But as far as bosses, those are the 3 main bosses that really require a lot more than just like a specific strategy. I didn't do a video for this. There's another one where I had kind of forgotten about it till Cordellium mentioned it a minute ago. You fight Id earlier on in the game. I think it's like probably 5 or 6 hours into it. That it's not too hard of a fight, but it's really technical, and the amount of you have to do certain attacks in a very certain order, and it's a really long sequence of attacks in order to get everything down. It's just one of those things that you kind of just memorize, but there's not much RNG to it, so it's not a big deal. But these 3 here, Ramses, Red Rum, and Executioner, are the ones that if you decide to learn this game, it's like this is where your run killers are going to be. These are the ones that you have to know probably the most about, just so that you're able to deal with the shenanigans that happens if you get bad RNG and that kind of stuff.
Alright, do you have any fights in a gear at any point? I want to see what they look like.
No, because they're all really boring. I mean, they're
okay. That's fine.
actually
That's fine.
in the model. Actually, in the model comparisons one, we can segue into that for here. If you want to pull up Fiesel, the second model comparisons video, not the first one, the second one.
Was that the one with the JP Xenogears?
Yes, I think so. And it's like 12 minutes and 20 seconds into that video. It's that video.
12 minutes, 20 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so This game, because there's so much text and stuff going on in it, one of the problems with PlayStations and PlayStation 2s and PlayStation 3s is that each one of them plays at a different rate. So like in this video right here, and UG and his main screen here is actually playing on a PS2 55,000 model. And then in the lower left, he's playing a PS2 that's a 90,000 model. As you can eventually kind of see, there's a lot of like desync and the fact that certain like particle effects as well as text cause the game to load at different rates. So like for this specific fight, since you just mash one button for this. So this was a really good example of showing the difference between the two, just two versions in general. Because these should be consistent between no matter what system you're playing on. But as far as like the gear fights in general, they're really, really easy. There's nothing to them. You use like, what is it? Cordellium. I forgot the name of Billy's attack. I think is one that you just spam and.
Oh, like the Jesse cannon. It's a special options move. It just requires fuel, and we use a few other special options with other gears, and that's again, it's relying on the high ether that we get from the ether doublers and a few other items that increase gears ether.
Yeah, most of the time you just do max damage, so it's like not even really. The gear fights are pretty simple. There's not really much to any of them that I can think of. And then if you want to load up the other model comparison video, this video itself is actually really infamous in the PlayStation community. I could literally spend an entire episode just talking about this one video, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try and make this quick. For the sake of this, there's probably around 100 different ways that you can play a PlayStation 1 game. Based on, there's like 30-ish, I think, different models of PlayStation 1. There's about 20 or so different models of PS2. But for the sake of this, we'll only say there's 4 basic models of the PS2.
Don't forget PSP downloads, PS3 downloads, PS TV downloads, Vita downloads.
So it's not just that. It's not just like PS3. There's like the download version versus disc version. There's also different drivers and firmware between each version. So like in the bottom row, you'll see the 70,000 has like a driver 1.02, and then to the right of that is driver 2.0. The 2.0 drivers are also what the PS3 uses. It's essentially an automatic fast disk speed. Most of the time with PlayStation 1 games, a lot of PS1 runners in general will just use a 90,000 series model just because it's the most it's the easiest for people to just get a system for. In the case of Xenogears, if you're going with PS2 models, the 50,000 is most of the time the fastest one. There's different versions of the 50,000, and I don't want to get too much into that just because of time. But there's so many different ways to play PlayStation 1 games. But Live UG, I was like, I'm going to start testing everything I possibly can. And him and both Cad Moni are really, really consistent in their times at this game. So they eventually decided that at one point in time, there was a specific firmware for the PS Vita, I think it was, or it might have been the PSP3, that was like the fastest version, and that's what I think UG's record is on. I don't know if Cordellium's done any testing on the PS TV thing, or if anybody's done any testing on that at all.
I haven't done too much testing. I guess I was talking with Uji about it, and he said just from a few comparisons that he did, he said it looked like it's slightly faster than the PSP version. So what he's running on here in his record that he had.
Do you know that if there are different firmware versions for the TV as well? Because with the PSP, it's not just like there's the PSP 1, 2, and 3, and then each one of those has their own drivers essentially that cause different ways to display particle effects and text and all that kind of stuff. So running a PlayStation 1 game and trying to actually time it is a nightmare for any PlayStation 1 game. And like, I don't know, I guess Caveman DCJ, who runs a lot of PS1 games. I think he runs on he just runs everything on a 90K, but like there's a lot of situations where it would actually be faster on like a 70K or a 50K. I know Claude, who runs Final Fantasy Tactics, did a lot of comparison videos for Final Fantasy Tactics. He actually found that like playing the greatest hits version on I think it was a 70K model was the fastest way to play that version of the game. So earlier when I was talking about when you said what's the record for the game, well, there's a record for it, but it's like the IQ version kind of thing. It's like it's a record, but you can never really tell if it's really faster than another version because of all the graphical differences that cause, this much differentiation in time and stuff.
One really important thing about this too is we haven't mentioned is there's a lock at the very end of the game, like a hard lock. Whenever Deuce does a specific attack, that can sometimes happen on certain versions. I don't know the specifics on it, but apparently some models it happens more often than others, or some it doesn't happen at all. So that's another thing to factor into it too. I don't know if Cordellium knows more about that.
Yeah, I think it's basically, so if you run the game at all on PS2, that is a possibility. And if you're running it on emulator, it's also a possibility. Because in the first few runs I did, I don't think I ever had it happen, but I was running on emulator, and it had happened in some practice sessions. So if you do it on PS2 and emulator, be wary.
Yeah, one other thing, since this video was in Japanese, that's just what UG had done originally. The North American versions of PS2s have completely different results than what's in this video. And in fact, there are certain sections where it's faster, certain things display faster on PS3 versus PS2, which is hardly ever the case for PlayStation games. So there was a while there that UG was like, I wonder if disc version of PS3 would actually be faster than PS2, and I did some testing on it, and while I never had like a for sure thing to say like, hey, this is definitely the thing, but like just from my testing, I feel like the PS3 version is definitely not any faster than the PS2 version for disc, but there are definitely certain sections that run faster on that version. So it's, once again, trying to time anything on a PS or any kind of PS1 game is just nightmarish.
Yeah, it's terrible because certain things go faster than other things on different versions and different models, but it's not consistent. It's always faster. It's like sometimes the text goes faster, but sometimes this loads faster, but sometimes this is slower, and it's like really terrible.
It's like the first model comparison video that we showed with the gears, that battle goes by almost 45 seconds faster on a 90,000 model, whereas the text, if you look at the video that has the whole bunch of different versions, the 55,000 series actually came up like 15 seconds faster there. So it's a lot of there's so many different variables that it's almost impossible to really truly say which is the fastest, other than being able to say, okay, I have consistent enough times in this that I can say this is definitely, I definitely get, a 10-minute save over playing this version versus this version. Kind of thing. There's actually not a whole lot of like RNG and that kind of stuff in terms of like random fights and stuff and whatnot. In fact, to kind of go over into how Babel Tower, you want to pull up any of the, I think I've sent you like one Babel Tower video.
Floor one or outer wall skip?
Let's do the floor one. Babel Tower actually, a lot of people hated this when they played through the game casually. You want to skip like 15 seconds in or something like this. Cad always, for some reason, his highlights wanted to make him like look super fancy. But like in Babel Tower floor one, actually you may want to skip about 30 seconds into that video. When people play through Babel Tower, they always got trolled by essentially, you would try to jump. There's a lot of platforming in this section, so they would try to jump, but when they would jump, if you're getting in a battle at the same time you jump, you won't actually jump. So they would just fall to the bottom of Babel Tower, where it's this really tall building that just goes upwards. So if you fall, it takes forever to get back up there. So as you can kind of see in this video here, we figured out that all the battles actually occur on certain panels. So what we did is we just tried to figure out ways to avoid those panels. So you can actually go through most of Babel Tower. Like he just kind of went around this like little alcove there. Like if you go into the little, like the darkened section where that little tunnel is, you'll get in a fight there. But if you go around it, then you don't get in a fight. So there's a bit of manipulation in that sense in certain areas. Babel Tower especially is one, because all the fights there are predetermined. So keeping things consistent in that matter is pretty easy to tell, like when you're going for model comparison things, because you don't have to deal with like random encounters. It's human error at that point. And then I guess if you want to go into the outer wall skip, LCC can kind of explain that. We'll go into kind of how some of the glitches with the Y position and stuff work.
Yeah, so this glitch has been known for a really long time, but it's been more recent that it's really been figured out. So this is a video I made a while back. Pretty much, I think Cordellium started messing with it, then Sean Cass started helping, then I kind of came in and helped a little bit as well. So it's pretty much when you're on a certain z-axis coordinate, in this particular section, you can actually skip a whole like floor and go up just by walking to the right on a certain pixel. So I'm sure there's probably other places in the game where you can make use of this. I'm just not too familiar with it. But it's kind of crazy that you can do that, but it has to be lined up very, very specifically. One of the ways that this game keeps track of your z-axis is it only increments it in threes. So like if you tap the D-pad, it'll increment it by 3. But you need to be on a specific value in order for it to work at all. So the way that you end up being able to line this up is actually hitting yourself into the wall at the bottom. So it puts you at an interval that is allowing you every step to be able to hit that specific value. And then you just kind of line it up based on what you see, and then you just walk to the right. And if for whatever reason you actually get off of the correct interval for it, you can increment it by less than 3 by facing a different direction and then tapping down. So if you're already facing down and then you tap down, it's going to increment it by 3 every time. You'll probably fall off. But if you're facing like to the right and you tap down, it'll sometimes increment it by 1 or 2. So it's kind of weird in how it works, but that's the gist of it pretty much. So the setup is pretty much you just bonk into the wall so that it puts you the correct interval that you can walk on, and then you just kind of tap down to get to the right spot. That's pretty much it. I don't actually know why it works. I just know it does work and how to do it. So,
so the programming for the up and down axis, I guess that's the Y axis, is actually really terrible in this game. There are sections where you'll be moving forward and you'll just like fall down, rather than like you'll fall down instantly rather than like slowly falling down kind of thing. Like suddenly you'll be at the top, kind of like if you did this in reverse, like all of a sudden you're just like down. In fact, when I first started messing around with this, there's an area earlier in the game where you're playing as just Bart, and you go out this window and you have to jump around this thing and then go down into these sewers. And I was like, you know what, I bet I could jump over this like random wall that was here. And you can just barely get on the top of that wall. And the way it like handles you being down there is it tries to pull you back to the ground really quickly. So there are certain cases in the game that like it will just, I don't even know how the math works for this, but it will shoot you back up. So in the same sense that it would try to pull you down. And this is one of those cases where it just kind of glitches out and just shoots you up instead of shooting you down or something. It's just kind of weird glitch that like this is the only applicable I can't even talk. This is the only place that like it was really useful that anybody ever found. I'm sure there are others as well, but since there's so many, I guess like pixels and spots that you could be, it's hard to like really find them. It's other than accidentally. So this is the only one that's like really something you have to learn. It's not too hard, and it saves like probably 3 or 4 minutes. So it's something you definitely would want to learn. It also skips a fight, so that's really good as well. And then I guess that's pretty much for Babel Tower. I'm gonna kind of skip ahead here a little bit in our document, just because I know you guys don't want to talk about this forever. There's some glitches. in this game that I kind of want to talk about, other than like this Y coordinate glitch here. There's actually a glitch that you can get from not saving the game. For some reason, the developers didn't think that someone would actually try to play through this game without ever saving. So there's a point in the game. Yeah. So there's actually a point in the game where it starts having these weird effects on things like the gears. For example, most of the time it has really negative effects. Like when you first get Satan's gear, it starts off with 1200 fuel instead of 1500 fuel, and your attack power is 80 instead of 90. Or like later on in the game, when you get Weltall 2, you start off with 20 armor instead of 600 armor, and you have 0 ether armor. So it's stuff like that. It's like, well, you have to save and load your game at some point. Well, the glitch comes from never loading, not actually never saving. Because if all you had to do is save, it would be where you just save and move on. So we actually picked out a point in the game where you load right before all the glitches start happening, so that you don't have to deal with like some of these things. Like for example, later on in the game, when you get El Steer, he has 9,999 HP if you've never loaded your game, but he has 0 agility. So he would have max HP, but he would never actually be able to move. And so there's stuff like that. So we actually save, and I don't know if you guys still, it was like, I guess like the thing in the community for a long time to save in the cave right before you fight, was it Calamity, I think?
Right, that's still pretty much the determined point to do it, because it's right on the way and everything.
Yeah, it's also right after that where the glitches start occurring. So like you get Satan's gear like right after that, basically. I think the next boss fight you fight after Calamity involves having his gear, and you'd have lower attack and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And then later on you'd have lower fuel, and it mostly kind of occurs on disc 2. Some of the problems with that, but if you load, so you just have to save and you load your game sometime earlier on in the game to kind of negate that glitch. And then I know Cordellium knows quite a bit about some of the equipment glitches. If he wants to go over some of that.
Yeah, sure. So there's actually 2 equipment glitches that occur in different versions. The first one I'm not going to speak too much about other than just mentioning it briefly, and it occurs in the Japanese versions of the game. And what this does is it basically allows you to duplicate accessories in your equipment and items, so it vastly changes the money situation.
There's also a glitch with the rods. I don't know if anybody ever told you about that one.
Oh yeah, that one too. So with Ellie, she's the redheaded chick. In her gear, in a certain part of the game, if you don't end up changing her weapon, which is just like a rod, she'll end up not being able to do any damage. So we get around this by buying an extra rod for her at some point and then changing it before the fight, that it would start to have that glitch occur. And this just impacts our money situation a little bit. It's not anything too big, but for a while it was a bit of a stumper. But yeah. And then the other glitch I wanted to mention with equipment and stuff is that in Fatima Castle, this is pretty early on in the game. This doesn't really apply too much to any percent, but for 100%, it looks like using this glitch could definitely help your money situation. And what this is basically you're able to duplicate just this item called Iron Mail by doing a frame perfect trick. So basically you go up to this piece of armor, because you just grab it by getting that, and it goes into your inventory, but you press X just in a frame perfect fashion, and you can just keep doing that over and over and over until you get 99 basically. But like I said, it doesn't really apply to any percent that much, because our money situation is tight, but that would end up just adding a whole lot of time if you would go for using that glitch. But yeah,
the money route has actually gone through quite a number of changes over the years, and it wasn't until think last year that UG finally came up with like a really, really solid money route that I think you guys still use now. Some of the older routes, you had to, one of the bosses, Vanderkov, I think, he has these two little guns next to him. When you kill one of them, or actually, if you kill either of them, each one of them drops, I think gold bullions, maybe? It's either gold nugget or gold bullion.
Yeah, if you kill one of them, you get a gold nugget, but if you kill both of them, you can get a gold bullion, which is worth twice as much, basically.
And that was something that it cost. It was stuff like that. It was like it cost a little bit of time, but you got like a pretty big bit of money out of it. But we eventually found that it was like completely not even really needed. And UG went and did like actual math, like the timing and everything, and like how long certain things took and that kind of stuff. So do you guys still kill those two little guns? I don't think you kill those guns anymore.
No, we don't. It's not really needed.
Yeah, I know his last money, like the last time he changed the money route, he ended up saving like 26,000, which is quite a bit in a run like this. Doing that, but another thing, I don't know if you guys still rely on the arena fights. If you want to pull up the arena fight video, real quick, the arena fights, you actually get a varying amount of money based on the amount of damage you have when you finish a fight. So somebody, I don't remember who figured this out, some odd years ago. I don't remember how it works. I think you like attack cancel to do an infinite combo. If Cordellium wants to explain that, if he even knows about that, I assume you do.
I'm actually not too familiar with that myself.
So the arena fights, we actually used to, I don't know if you still rely on the money. We used to rely on the money that you got from the arena fights because it could be quite a difference depending on whether or not you have 100% or 50% health. So what you do here, I believe you hit circle and triangle, and you just alternate between the two of them really fast. And it cancels the punch animation so that you basically just do this infinite combo. It works on all enemies just as long as you can get to them before they're able to attack you. So you essentially can win it makes every single one of the arena fights completely just like nothing. I'm sure a lot of people used to love to spend, tons of hours playing this arena game, and I just completely ruined it for them. But like, because they're stun locked, there's nothing they can do. Once you hit that first punch, you win. And all you have to do, I think it's circle and triangle. You just mash back and forth between the two of them. Like, you have to mash really fast and just kind of alternate between the two of them. It's pretty easy to learn because it doesn't require like super heavy mashing skills. But once you get it in there, it's like you win every single time. So that definitely helped, like with money and stuff. I don't know if they still rely on that. Because it is kind of risky, because if you do take one damage, then you don't get as much money.
Right, like we usually aim to get the mid-range bonus, because it still gives you plenty of money in the long run, and it also has a shorter amount of text, because depending on which bonus you get, whether you get low, medium, or high, you get different amounts of text from the lady who gives you the money after the fight's over. And the medium one is always the quickest, so that's another reason to go for that over the high bonus.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I mean, I could sit here and talk for like another hour.
All right. Yeah, sorry. I muted myself because I was finishing these crisps that I forgot about when I disconnected. And my mouse was nowhere near the other side of the screen where my mute button was, so I was scrolling and I couldn't find it. Okay, do you want to like wrap up on that? Because obviously this is an absolutely massive game. It was kind of brave of us to attempt to put it into the show. I think we did quite well. You did quite well.
Right.
It was all you.
It
was all you.
Yeah, you know it. Any learning things you'd like to suggest how to learn it, and then we can wrap up and do records. So you've got a fair few records as well.
Or I did the 3 easy steps thing. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Since Cordellium's still running this, if you want to hit the first one there. If you're reading the doc, Cordellium.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, so learning the game in 3 easy steps. Prepare your mind and body. It's a very long speed run. So yeah, this is one of the biggest barriers. I mean, I'm still kind of questioning my sanity after deciding to learn this game and everything, because I've only been able to complete 4 runs of it, and like we were saying earlier with the Ramses fight, you can die 2.5 hours into a run and that sort of stuff. So yeah, be prepared to, you know, invest a lot of time, and if you're going to sit down and do a run, even be prepared for maybe a potential reset or two. It's happened to me a number of times. And number 2, learn how death blows are.
Let's have LCC do number 2 there.
Oh yeah.
Learn how death blows are required. Good advice.
It's good.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, we said earlier when we were talking about it. The first half of the game, everything's routed out so that you have the exact number of encounters and the exact number of like triangle uses and X uses, so that you have the right death blows and that kind of stuff. There's actually one fight that you do go to grind right before you enter Beldovic or whatever that place is called. You can actually learn death blows without finishing the fight itself. You can learn them from running away. So just making sure you have like the correct number, and that kind of just kind of learning how death blows work in general is really helpful.
They can even die and still get the experience from it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
The move actually has to come out though, so
yeah. As long as the animation.
If you kill it early, it doesn't count, as far as I know, anyway.
And then the number 3, I would suggest reading through Cadmoni's guide. In fact, I'll link it here in chat for everybody. Cadmoni wrote a guide.
Bible. I can't really emphasize enough how amazing that guide actually is. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very detailed in the way that everything works. And although they don't still, Cordellium actually has a route up on his page, I think, a link somewhere that I know you have, of his current route that he does. Cadmoni's guide is not the most up-to-date route, but it is a very good tool for learning the game. So if you're interested in learning it, definitely read through that guide. Play through the game, at least once, just using the guide, so you can have a good understanding of how everything works, and then maybe kind of move over to Cordellium's notes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And watch live UG and M's videos, because you'll see differences in strategies, and you can kind of get a feel for what you would prefer to do, Cadmoni strategy or UG strategy, that sort of thing, and just expand your knowledge about the game by getting it from another source too. So yeah.
All right. And I presume contacting you guys or other runners of Xenogears would be the other good way to get into it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think at the moment, Cordellium, you're pretty much the only one that's actually streaming runs of it or routing it at the moment.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, Endymion did a run back in December, and I know he's still toying around with it. So, if you want to get into contact with him too, he would be another good resource, definitely.
What was his name?
Endymion. I think it's Endymion7144 on Twitch, I believe. Something of that effect, but yeah.
That's why I don't put numbers at the end of your name. I would never remember.
This is such a beautiful guide.
I wish all RPG runs had a guide like this.
Oh yeah,
this is unreal good for a speedrun guide.
Yeah.
He put it was probably close to a year into doing that, and like I said, it was originally in French. I actually have the French version. If you want to read that one instead.
I would be lost on me.
I had to go through and proofread a lot of his original guide and stuff over the year that he worked on this. So it's been interesting. I've learned so much about the game just from that. Although I haven't done runs
just
forever,
hope no one ever reroutes it, because
well, it's been, like I said, it's been rerouted, but it's still really good. He does have a lot of explanations for how the different fights work and stuff like that. So it's just as like a beginner's guide to learning it. Would definitely be that right there, because it's not just, he doesn't just say that you have to do this or you have to do this. It's like, this is why we do this kind of thing.
I see.
So it's really good in terms of a guide rather than being notes.
Cool. Alrighty, that's Xenogears, or at least a I would say a chunk of it, but maybe chunks or a slice.
A tiny sliver.
Tiny slither of Xenogears. We're gonna move into records now. Are you guys sticking around? Any of you are free to go if you want to.
I gotta stick around for these records, man. Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to miss that.
You know the rules, hopefully. Call on us if you know any of them. If not, you'll be assigned them randomly. All these runs are submitted by either viewers or runners, so go to our website, TSSB, and use the submit form to send us these. We have a bumper crop of runs, because I guess in the last 1 week, and definitely not 2 weeks, just 1 week.
Right, only 1 week.
We had a lot of submissions, so that's good. We're going to work our way through these.
Oops, that's not
nice,
the right page.
timely fashion. We're going to be prompt.
I just gave away one of the later pages.
Oh, you...
I'll have to delete that in post-production.
Delete that. All right.
Erase everyone's
now,
memory.
we're going to start off with Adam's family values. I'd do the theme song and click, but I need to be quiet. This is a SNES. Any percent in 2:36. 2 hours, 39 minutes, and 16 seconds.
That sounds right.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, okay. Adam's Family Values is an action RPG for the SNES. It is considered the sequel to Festus Quest. This run is the first speedrun in this game with almost optimal routing. I'm currently working on some small portions of the route and boss strats. The next goal is possibly 230. Most of the length of this game is the insane amount of backtracking and side quests the games make you take. Why are there so many Adam's Family games, and why would they make an Adam's Family action RPG? Using the gobbly bomb-eating monster from Link's Awakening. I saw it there. It's just bizarre.
I like thinking of it as a sequel to Fester's Quest.
Yeah,
That detail there really piqued my interest.
Are they sunglasses or?
No, he just has really dark circles around his eyes because he's
Does he?
weird. Yeah, that's Fester.
Was Adam's Family this big? Like, it's crazy. I can't.
Well, Adam's Family Values had a movie, that came out around this time, right?
Wasn't it just a movie though? Or was?
Oh yeah, well, it was
there
a TV show back in the day, but there were various forms in which it got rebooted. I think there was a cartoon or something, and there was different things. But there was a movie at some point, and this was in it.
Dude,
Or this was like the game
big.
from it, rather.
This looks really cuddly as well, like the models and everything. I like the little dumpy Fester waddling around. Like, it's very round. There's even text, look. Man. Dude, what happened to the Addams Family then? They were riding so high at one point.
I guess so.
Yeah. This is a weird looking game. It looks like a strange JRPG with just Fester shoved in there. Not surprised if this is a reskin of a Japanese game. If you told me that,
this just makes me think. This makes me think of like Illusion of Gaia, like a downgraded,
Right.
graphically.
It looks like a Secret of Evermore, or
It's
like even
Fester Densetsu.
Like this, the layout's very orange or brown or whatever. But anyway, there you go. No, let's give this one to LCC just for the sake of it.
Battletoads.
Good old
Yeah.
Battletoads.
A TMR. Nice.
Yep.
Oh, so I gotta read everything, huh?
Got to read it all. Well, not all of it,
Dang.
but the pertinent information.
So I love this category since it doesn't have glitches. You can play the full rat race. Oh, I see.
Yep.
So you can play the full rat race. That's something you don't normally do in speedruns of the game. Run can still be improved, and I see a sub 29 possible, but will require some practice.
So yeah, I guess the idea is this is supposed to be the glitchless category, so you're in a moment going to see the other 2/3 of Rat Race, which you don't normally see because you would just boot scuzz and go right by it. I'm not sure about there's other little skips that you do in the any percent run or even in the all stages run, so I'm pretty sure he's not doing those. Like it's not going out of bounds in the sewers.
No
or
warp,
He has a
no out of bounds.
list. Yeah. Do not take any warp. Display all the game levels, content. Arctic caverns, not skipping stuff. So there's specifics. It's like a pretty, let's go with the unusual 100%, but the idea is you show everything. So
Right, because I guess even the all stages run, it enters all the
Gives a
stages, but it
bunch.
doesn't, necessarily do all the parts of them. So this is an interesting category, but definitely TMR is the guy to be running it.
yeah, this is 29, 27. He says sub 29 is possible, so He says will require some practice, and just the way he wrote that, as if he didn't practice this.
Right. Well, even
Just
sections
busy
like this,
doing-
there aren't good speedrun routes for this stuff, I imagine,
No.
right? Because you just reset if you don't get the boot.
Yeah.
Still
It's
doing
like-
NES Mania, I assume. This is just kind of on the side.
Yep. He's never going to finish NES Mania. Someone's
I
going
still
to
believe.
find a truck of like completely unknown NES games and like 7,000 Adams Family games in there. And he's going to be like, no. And uncover that like South Africa or something has some unknown NES scene that's still going, and they've made like 6,000 games since then.
It's got to do all
That's my
those the
prediction.
Chinese games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's only doing
Yeah.
first-party games, but you could do all
Yeah, I think so.
unlicensed stuff and
Yeah.
everything.
60,000 game in one packs, you know. Anyway, we got Castlevania on NES. KMAC has an 1141 in the any percent. Says stages 2 to 5 went as well as they could have. Only bad luck was an unfortunate flea man before the meat on stage 6, and Dracula Form 1 not overlapping with a candle, causing me to have to whip him for the last hit. My only mistake was one minor flobbed input on Form 2. Those three things cost 1 to 1.5 seconds. If this run would have had early stopwatch, the time would have been around 11:37 to 11:38. I haven't seen the original Castlevania run in a while. It tends
Right.
to get forgotten every so often.
Yeah, well, I mean, the record got beaten a while back, and K-Mac didn't have the record, and he reclaimed it. I think he had, it was like an 1149 or something like that last week. It was I think it was in the high 1140s somewhere, and then he got this one, the 1141, which I think he's quite a bit happier with how that one went.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see if there's still going to continue to be competition on Castlevania.
Been made aware that that says Castlevania as well.
It says
and that'll be
Castlevania.
The submitters' fault, not ours.
Well, yeah, like because we
because
couldn't
it's
have
all
proofread it.
automatic. No, it's their fault for spelling it wrong in the first place.
Sure, and it does say Castlevania.
Castlevania, yeah.
Castlevania.
Isn't
Castlevania.
Vanna a woman in America?
A very important
Yes.
one.
Yeah, there you go. Just checking. All right. Anyway, we don't have any Vannas here. We have vans. They drive, but they're different. Anyway, we have Chrono Trigger SNES 100% in 45013 by Pwexel, who says 100% in Chrono Trigger is defined as completing the main quest and all side quests given by the Guru of Time. This is a roughly 5-minute improvement over the previous record, and thanks to a few minor improvements and a much better executed final boss battle.
I'm just glad you read the first one instead of the second one.
There is another one right there. Why are there two of
It's the
these?
same one.
He PB'd twice, apparently. So, you know.
Yeah, he beat twice,
times.
but luckily he wrote exactly the same comment
Yeah,
again.
thanks.
So it's a 4:47:28 is the final time. Thank you,
Right.
Puexel,
Yeah.
for using the same comment.
Just put an 8
Wow.
instead of a 5 in there. Perfect.
Yeah, there you go. Good job.
Yeah, we're
while
watching the
this is
highlights,
running,
so let it
this
run.
would be a good time to tell everybody, or remind everybody, that Tuesday, the 12th, is the beginning of RPG Limit Break, which is going to be over on the RPG Limit Break channel. Big
Right, and he will be speedrunning this
live-
game
Yeah,
during that
yeah.
as well.
It's a big live speedrunning marathon all about RPGs, as you may have guessed by the name. And I could not tell you anything about what's on the schedule because I did not plan accordingly, but I did remember where it was and I did remember when it started. So it's the 12th on Tuesday the 12th of May. But it is a live marathon. I can only tell you that PXTFD is going because we talked to him for the Final Fantasy 13 relay that they let us host on their channel. So go check that out if you like RPGs, and I imagine a bunch of you do because you're watching Xenogears episode. Go watch that because it's going to be pretty cool.
The Final Fantasy
sort of
4
the-
crew got together pretty heavily for that event too, because there's like I think 15 of them in Vegas right now before the event, all hanging out. So
Vegas.
that should be.
Yeah.
They're having like a 4-way race there at the event. I think
They're trying
so.
their real life RNG, are they?
Oh yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
And
Where's-
the
where is
Ross
it
actually came
hosted?
out from Australia for that as well,
Oh,
so
damn.
he traveled quite a ways.
Is it in Vegas, the event?
No, it's the Salt Lake City area.
I was gonna say that
They-
would blow my mind if it was in Vegas. Like, wait, why did the RPG Limit Break get theirs in Vegas and we don't? Like,
That'd be
I want a
awesome.
Vegas marathon. I would have very heavily considered going if it was in Vegas. That would have been great. All right, Clash at Demon Head. Any percent 1952 by Great Giddle Sneeze. He was moaning about this being bad last week, so I'm assuming nothing's changed.
Your
It's
strats.
still bad, I would guess,
Because
because
well,
Crap
it
run.
hasn't changed.
his opinion on it hasn't changed. That's the
Oh,
the important part, I guess.
Yeah.
Which means he's going to keep working on it until he actually gets the run that has all the stuff in it he wants. But every time I feel like he's getting close to that, something else gets discovered or he changes the route and we start all over again. So, congrats to him for just putting so much time into this game.
Yeah, he's gonna keep going forever. He can't quit. Right, we have two Contras. Do these have a video, by the way? Because they're not orange color.
Well, they'll have a video
They
that they'll
don't.
play.
Okay, all right, that's fine then. Let's pass this on to Rudyxx then. You can do both Contras.
Sweet.
Boom.
We got Contra for the NES, Low Percent by DK28. So this went back to Low Percent as part of my getting into shape for 956. I knew there was time to save as my 1120 had a death, but it was also had the base 2 one-frame boss glitch, which was ridiculous for Low Percent. However, I routed a kill pattern which mimics the same amount of cycles with perfect execution and good bubble RNG. Only the 956 left for Contra 80% attempts. Start at 1,500 followers. And then see, we have Contra Rebirth for the Wii U. This is any percent easy and 1238, also by DK28. Says basically had 3 PBs back to back. Lost a couple seconds being just out of position on the Ninja, and a death during the Queen that washes with the worm pattern. Still happy with the time, and it's 4 seconds off my sum of best. That's pretty amazing. This is initially just a fun side quest until Contra 956 attempts began, and it turned into a decent run. I don't know anything about Contra other than Mr. K.
Spread
Rhythm.
rhythm. Spread rhythm.
Spread rhythm is
I
pretty
watched.
That's a magic
I watched
word.
the episode you guys had.
Mhm.
I remember a lot of discussion going on, but I couldn't tell you what any of it was about.
Spread rhythm. That's the magic word.
Yep.
Rhythmic mashing. The important part is that DK28 is very good at Contra games.
Yes.
He's also good at a bunch of other games too, but
Right.
we'll
and when
keep
he's
it.
referring to the 956, he's talking about, I guess,
The
doing
Contra,
any
any percent, yeah.
Contra.
Is it 959 now?
No, I think it's 58, right?
58.
I shoot. I
I
don't
couldn't
even know.
tell you. I would imagine maybe it's even 957 just because of the specificity of a 956. But
56. Oh, okay.
it's under 10 minutes. That's all I know.
I remember.
56 is what he considers to be human limit. There you go.
I remember TMR had the record for a long time, and then somebody beat it recently. I think.
Yeah, that was
beat
DK.
it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
DK, yeah.
We
For
did
the
a
longest
special
while, I don't even
records
think
episode
people
on
thought they could do sub 10, which is
it. Yeah.
you're
Oh,
getting
for a very
sub
long
10's
time.
Yeah, 958 is the time, the current record for it.
The current record.
Or
yeah.
was, well, yeah, it is now until
It
he
is,
gets
it
a
is.
956
Yeah, all 57.
or 57, but no, until he gets a 956. That's the real goal.
Okay, we have two Chris.
Go ahead, commit to one.
Crystallis.
They're both wrong though, because Crystallis isn't a word and Crystallis isn't a word. So it doesn't matter. I'm gonna call it Crystallize. So this is an any percent no wild warp and 100% no wild warp. We got a 10201 for Dragon Dark in the no 100% and a any percent and a 10655 in the 100%. So I'm not really sure why he didn't just pick one and go with it. This seems like greedy record duping to me, Dragon Dark. We're on
What,
to you.
do both any percent and 100%?
Yeah, when there's only a 4-minute difference. But it depends what's in it.
Well,
Let's see. Let's find out. Let's find out for you
Okay,
right
all right,
now.
sure, all right.
Any percent. It says, first of all, Flicky, shut up. Oh my god, no, it doesn't say that.
It does say that.
It doesn't shut up. It says, I think I should do all of my speedruns either by derusting or when I'm half asleep, since I always have the best runs in those cases. Either way, this is a 25-second improvement into all my old record from last October, and there's still a lot of time to be saved. I had maybe an hour or so after this run that was I had a run maybe an hour. Oh, okay, there you go. I had a run maybe an hour or so after this run that was 55 seconds ahead and only 20 minutes into the run. Sub 1 hour seemed more and more possible. This is definitely going to be a rough trying to achieve a time that low. I got it. And then 100%, he says, more D-Rust record. Goodness, shaved about 4.5 minutes of my old unrecorded record. See, that's another one. There's definitely some record duping going on here. Some shifty unrecorded record that you beat.
Unrecorded record.
Yeah.
Is that really a record?
No, it's fine. I always have unrecorded runs of everything, so it's fine. There's still a lot of work to be done for this category, but I think this is a very good start. Sub 106 should be pretty doable, with sub 105 being a maybe. Alright, good job, Dragon Dog. Then Graviton continues the Doom 64 train, which is with any percent watch me die 53.47. It's almost a year late. Oh wait, this video clip's still going. I'm looking. That's alright. I got carried away. I got really carried away.
All right, boss is dead. World record achieved.
World record achieved. Look at the spinning, dude. Look at the spinning. Whoa, all these extra cars.
That's how the ring stayed in place, but the rest of them shook. That was cool.
Graviton said, almost a year later, my 102.30 world record, I came back to this category looking to pick up where I left off, as I knew my time was still very far from optimized. I spent a week's rerouting ammo management and also found several new strats, both to save time and increase consistency, as dying is extremely likely at nearly every level. With these significantly better strats and much cleaner execution, I was able to cut almost 9 minutes off my time. After looking at this run, I think I'm capable of sub 50, but that'll be my goal for now. There you go. Yeah, that's a nice improvement.
Yeah, it's very tricky run at this difficulty level. I mean, I can't stress how much difference there is between the highest and lowest difficulty levels in Doom 64. It's like almost a completely different speed run.
Alrighty, I'm going to take this one as well, and then we'll give Dragon Warrior to Cordellium if he's cool with that.
Alright.
But sure. Dragon Ball, Shenron, no, Natso, Nazo, Nubnin, and so on. Any of those. Pick your favorite. So any NES Japanese any percent in 1628.32 by Daka or Dahaka, one of those two. This is again, take your pick. So many different pronunciations you guys can pick through on this one. So it's a much cleaner run than last attempt, but I still feel I can save more time. There you go. That's just the comment. This is the Goku one of the game where you're the monkey boy with the sweatband / shiny hair who punches things.
Right, except in this version, you're not the monkey boy with the shiny hair and the sweatband.
Yeah. You're Goku, who is the main character of a famous Japanese cartoon.
Thank you. Thank you, Wikipedia.
That's all right.
Is this the guy from Gundam?
Yeah. It's actually a bit of a misnomer, because his name isn't actually Goku. Goku is the acronym they use for all the suits in Gundam. And so a lot of people confuse that, yeah.
Makes sense now.
Yeah, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's definitely an acronym, so...
It's Gundam...
Gears...
Yeah.
Gears
Gundam... Gundam Official Killing Unit? Something like that.
There you go.
I think it's that.
Yeah,
I think that might be
that
it.
works.
Yeah. There you go. Alright. Cordellium, take this one. Dragon Warrior. This is a different dragon game.
Okay, so next we got Dragon Warrior, any percent by Geyer, and he got a 129.42 this week. His comments are, this run beats the previous record by 14 minutes due to finally daring to take on the Dragon Lord at level 17. Even with RNG manipulation, the odds of completing a run are terrible. Although I had bad luck manipulating the Death Necklace drop, the first hour of the run kept pace pretty well. The last 10 minutes are where it gets stressful trying to complete Charlock in a single trip, underleveled, and without using any magic on the way down. If you can make it to the Dragon Lord then, with manipulation, it's still only about a 10% chance of victory. The first phase went quite well, and the second phase goes down with a critical hit after I've run out of magic. There are about 15 runners that have done level 17 runs on the Super Famicom version, but this is the first one on the Game Boy. The Game Boy Color version is noticeably harder due to the healing rate of Loto's armor, which is your primary healing in Charlock, being cut in half. I'll be doing a much safer version of this run at RPG Limit Break on Tuesday.
I just remembered, actually, when we were talking about RPG Limit Break earlier, I actually know Gaia's going as well.
Gyre.
He's going to be doing Dragon Warrior. No, it's a G.
Yep, that'd be Gyre.
Gaia. Because he's
Gaia.
more Guy than you are.
Sure, he's
do you guys
Guy,
even
I get
do you
it.
guys even take languages at school in America? Come on, Gaia. It's clear. It's clear. Anyway, or maybe it's the name Gaia. You know, it's like
thought
a
it'd be
cool
like
way
year.
of spelling.
Year.
if you're Greek, I guess. God damn it! It's so who knows? I think we're starting to make them doubt himself. But there you go. Coolio. Dragon Warrior 3 as well. NES any percent and 338.43 by KMac. It says a fairly below average metal grind 40 minutes and a fairly below average Aleph guard 60 minutes. I'm going to assume that's the split he had, not how long it took. Because if the game is 100 minutes on two things, said the run to Dharma/Dahama and Orb Collection plus Baronos segments went extremely well. This run had sub 330 potential and someone will do it one day. There you go. We still got more. We got more things to keep reading. There's a bunch of ones that are quick and easy. DuckTales 2, any percent difficult in 927 by PLD. This has nailed almost everything with pixel perfect in this run. 2 double hits on Moo, Island Boss, and Webby Skip in Niagara. That was in... Was this in Big 20?
Race. It was in the Big 20 race.
We have a few Big 20 records, I think.
We sure do. We've got it. Yeah, this is not the only one we have. The thing about the Webby Skip is it's just like a frame perfect thing. You have to jump the moment you land. You can skip Webby, but the Mew boss is really the biggest point of RNG in the whole run, and you could just sit there indefinitely waiting for him to become vulnerable. So, yeah, you'll often hear runners talking about the Mew boss when they refer to DuckTales 2, because that's really the big sticking point. But congrats, PLD, for taking the any percent difficult record.
Yeah. Did he take that from Bang, Gara, or did he take it from someone else?
I'm trying to see who had it before. I don't know. Okay, well, I could look it up, but we'll just speculate.
Nah.
We'll just speculate that it was Flicky that had the record before then. Sorry, you don't have your DuckTales 2 record anymore, Flicky.
Well, you know what? You win some, you lose some. Okay. Rudyxx, read this Fear one.
I was about to say, so I've actually played Fear.
Whoa.
So this is... Good call there. So this is Fear, the any percent, in 5442 by Swart. It says sub 55 woohoo. When I started working on this, the goal was sub 55. It has finally been met. The new goal is sub 53. This time I had a perfect floppy boost. I still got a lot of the ladder clips first try, but there is still time to save on other parts. Sounded like my emote got eaten last time. Okay, floppy boost, whatever that means.
He says also...
Anyway, so this is interesting thing about this game. Most people that run it actually run the disc version rather than the one that's on Steam, because the original disc version has a bunch of like weird glitches in it, like the ladder clips and stuff like that. He didn't put it in here. I'm going to assume, since he mentioned ladder clips in his comment, that he's actually playing the, I guess it's like 1.0 or 1.1 version of the game. And I think it's only one version of the CD. Like there's a director's cut CD. I don't know if the director's cut CD works with it as well, but I remember who's it? Blood Thunder, I think, also ran this game. I remember he was trying to get hold of the original version for a while to do some runs of it. So it's nice to see that people are actually playing like old versions rather than the new versions, because sometimes that's fun, sometimes it's kind of dumb. But
varies every game.
Yeah.
I'm really upset you finally hit that split Fiesel.
I was
really
enjoying
upset.
watching the numbers tick up.
The people were furious. Some people in chat are like, no. Alright. Hey, this is a cool game, if it's the one I'm thinking it is, which it probably is.
It probably isn't.
Oh, okay then. Well, never mind. This game's
just
probably
kidding.
disappointing. This is Gauntlet Legends Arcade All Runes of 4216 by Challenger 01. This is the arcade version of Gauntlet Legends done on the original arcade cabinet. The actual linked run is 59 seconds slower than my best, as the world record was just to test the route and somehow got really lucky. As far as I know, this is the only run of the game done on an actual cabinet. 2 runs have been provided in the video to show consistency. Oh, that's nice. I would like to mention that the run was showcased with all original hardware, sticks, buttons, and all. There you go.
Do we know if the
got a
original
whole
is
machine.
much different, like the arcade version at all? I've played it before in arcade, but I don't remember if it's much different.
I guess it's probably a bit better graphically. Maybe lags less. That's a
Well, I
safe
assume
bet.
Yeah,
You
pretty
may
much.
have like more continues that you can just like waste continues or whatever, maybe for different things. I don't know.
Well, I'm assuming
Well,
they're
yeah, I
going to be
guess you
one
could throw
CCing
in-
it,
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you?
because that's
Yeah.
usually how arcade goes. But that's just me. Anyway,
Normally
I don't
they.
know.
I was gonna say normally they specify that kind of thing. Also, I'm really curious which if there's any differences between the characters in a game like this. I assume they're all the same.
Elf's usually fastest.
Yeah.
I know that because Feasel killed me. I'm never letting that go,
I'm
Feasel.
like, yeah, I'll pick the warrior. Sounds good.
No, I picked the Valkyrie. You were like,
Oh, you
she's
picked
the
Valkyrie.
second fastest. And I was like, okay, cool, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Then you picked up all the speed things and then just ran me into a corner where I got stuck and died. Literally couldn't do
Sucks.
anything. Yeah, it was horrible. I literally couldn't move because Feasel couldn't scroll the screen anymore because he ran too far away. So I just sat there. Anyway, apparently the areas are different in arcade. So there you go.
Okay. there
We
you go.
got Ghosts and Goblins, NES any percent 2 loops in 2044 by Era72. This finally got a good run where I didn't screw up and die horribly. This beats the Koreshi's long-standing time by 8 seconds. That is a long-standing record, by the way. There's still some seconds to be saved with a little bit better RNG and a couple spots, but I'm happy I finally got it. Rumors are that Dexter should be playing this game. And by rumors are, I mean he submitted it for ESA, and he should be playing this game. So, keen to see how that one turns out. And then, Grand Theft Auto... How was it Dragon's Quest 5? Why did I
They're
not
practically the same thing.
Yeah, anyway, this is Grand Theft Auto 5. PC 100% in 1550 or 46 by Nord. That's hours, minutes, seconds.
Right.
So this is my third run of this category, but the first one on PC. My previous PBMR record was done on PS3 about 2 years ago, and I decided to wait for another one. I started to wait for PC before I went for another one. Spent about 1 week looking at the last run, making changes and testing the whole route in 4 segments at least twice. The old world record took 20 hours, 22 minutes, and 56 seconds, so managed to destroy it in the end. The 100% for this game is classified slightly oddly, and it's something like what Rockstar says is 100%. So it doesn't actually do literally everything, but
Because I've seen a lot of.
game has a definition of 100% that doesn't quite match what technically is everything done. But the game says you've done 100% of it, I think.
Yeah. There's been a lot of drama in this community over what categories are actually what.
Never ending.
Yeah.
There's a nice thread about it on speedrun.com, I think.
Yeah, there's a good
Yeah.
thread on speedrun.com. And all I'll say on it is no one's running the game. You can argue all you want, but if none of you are actually going to run the game, I'd rather you just ran the game and then argued about it. But hey-ho. Nord, the 100% is pretty easy to classify, I think, because the game says this is 100%. It's not technically doing literally everything, but the game counts it as 100%. So if the game says it's 100%, it's 100%. Anyway, let's pass this one on to LLC. You can read this.
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
here we go. Heisei Tensei Bakabon. By 80%, 5125 by Author Blues. So this game is translated Modern Day Genius Bakabon, sorry.
Oh, well, that's
Strange
not a translation, is
platformer.
it? If it still says back upon at the end, that's not a translation.
That's the name.
No, it's not. That's got to mean something. It's Japanese. That's got to mean something.
Oh, we'll look it up later. Strange platformer found through Gilder's Nest Roulette. After Tristan beat my casual time, I practiced all the stages a bit more and put this together. The game becomes a battle between health restoration and damage boosting, as you get fall damage from falling from almost any height. That sounds awesome. As well as momentum damage from running into walls too quickly, but slowing your fall with an umbrella is more costly than just finding health restoration when you get close to death. Well, that's interesting. I do like that you can run into walls and get hurt. That's awesome.
That sounds horrible.
And I'd like to point out that this run was actually beaten, so the record is now back in the hands of Tristan. So Author
Oh, there you
Blues had it last week,
Wow.
but not this week.
There you go. Tristan taking it back.
Mhm.
This is odd looking, and I don't feel comfortable looking at this character. I would get so
Wow, he really
furious.
did
He
take
keeps
damage, huh?
falling over. I think he's falling over and like grabbing onto things really slowly.
Look the way he shimmies up between the 2 and the 3.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, you see him flapping.
Some weird animations in this game.
Yeah, this looks painful. Is he adding up?
Yeah, it's the number at the top. And,
Yeah.
And on that guy's console.
No, oh, it just seems to go up to 10.
Wow.
Oh, does he need to press the number the guy's got on the screen? I don't know, man. I
So
don't
many
know.
questions we have
Why
about
did
this
I-
game. Let's hope we keep getting submissions of it in future weeks, so we'll eventually get to the bottom of this.
All right, we got Fiesel, you can do this because this was also Big 20.
Yes, this was. All right, sure. Let me start this clip going.
It's mac and cheese.
Yeah, Joe and Mac and Cheese for the NES. This is any percent run in 739 by LemonSX, who says, after the Big 20, I decided to give this game a try and managed to beat the world record twice today. First, I got a 748 with good bosses, no fire. Fire is one of the attack upgrades. Let's see, and bad RNG at the end. The second time I got was 739 with average bosses, but this time I got the fire, which helped me to kill the bosses much quicker. I will try to push these times down more because there's still a lot of time to save on this run, and I'm sure me or someone else will post a new time the next TSSB. Yeah, Rich has also been working on this. He managed to beat the record time at some point, but then
Before
Lemon did.
well, obviously before Lemon, yeah, but it was he got a 750 something, I think, and then Lemon did this. I was there when Lemon just posted the video randomly in one of the Skype chats I'm in with him, and he just said like, yeah, the old record was really free. It was like not very up to date or good or whatever. He said something about low sevens maybe being like an ultimately good time in this game if you got a really clean run. But I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, some of these boss fights, they can end up taking a long time if you don't have the fire upgrade, and that's random. See, he's using the stone wheel, which you can manipulate. There's a manipulation to get the stone wheel, but I don't know that there's any manipulation yet to get the fire. So that's going to be a bit of RNG.
Yeah, there you go. He did that last weekend, and I don't know if he's done anything since, but he's been working on Terra Enigma now, so he'll probably come back to it at some point in like 6 months, as he always does. Okay, Kirby's Air Ride. This is GameCube US version. Top ride 100 checkboxes. In 3906 by BB Forky. This is 100 checkboxes, basically any percent of Kirby's Air. Oh, okay, then call it any percent. Don't confuse me. I'm glad that we have any percent as a term instead of just using the specifics of what the run is. Otherwise, every game will be like beat and then the final boss's name, or just watch credits. Anyway. A Top Ride is one of 3 unique modes in the game that focuses on racing from an aerial view. This beats the previous record by 30 seconds. Item RNG makes this category pretty difficult, but still faster than the other 2 modes. Plan on improving this in the future, as it could go down a couple more minutes. Okay, yeah, sorry. Land of Illusion, we in here, we got... Let's give this one to Cordellium. We'll hand these out, passing them around. There we
Sure.
go.
So Land of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. Any percent in 2632 by Beatrim. Gain time during an auto-scroller thanks to Mephistus, who worked on incorporating better strats to get a world record run last week. The trick was found out by a tester some years ago, but it turns out it's easy to do in real time. Buttons along the level keep the direction going left. Lifting the key within a few pixels of the screen edge keeps the effect of the button, saving time where the auto-scroller would otherwise go right. This is especially important to skip the last button. Well, okay.
Oh, I
Anytime
see.
there's an
The screen
save,
direction
yeah.
changes. I see.
Ah,
He's preventing that from happening.
nice.
Man, that's even worse than an auto-scroller in a speedrun, is an auto-scroller that goes the wrong
That goes
direction
back.
part of the time.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
This is one of the many Mickey Mouse games we had. I swear, 6,000 Mickey Mouse games submitted for ESA.
Yeah,
And
there
they're
are
all
6,000 Mickey Mouse games.
They're called
actually.
something of illusion. Wait, this is an SMS game. Silly Feasel saying it's NES. Anyway, they're all called something of illusion, starring somebody.
I said
They're
it
all
was NES.
starring. You said that? Did you say NES?
I don't think
Don't
so.
make me doubt myself. Because if I doubt myself, the chat will never back me up. So if you did say NES, they will still tell me you said SMS because they hate me. So you're gonna have to back me up here, Feasel.
Okay. Yes, Flicky, the thing you said is very right.
Thank you, Feasel. I'm glad. All right. We'll give you this one as your reward because you love Legend of Zelda games so much, especially this one.
Well, I like ones like this.
Yeah.
If all Legend of Zelda games were like this, I would love them all. Alright, well, this right here is Link, the Faces of Evil for the CDI. This is any percent in 3326 by Author Blues. He says, this improves upon the existing best time, which to my knowledge was a depressing 59 something something Let's Play. I have routed the game fairly extensively to cut out 40% of stages as unnecessary, which makes the end of the run extremely risky, almost entirely blind. All lanterns are skipped, so not only are half of the rooms in Ganon's lair pitch black, but more than half of the enemies are completely invisible. With some assistance from Tompa, I have room to bring this down to around 26 something, and I have been working hard to make that happen.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I thought, did Tompa only task these? I thought he had actually done runs of all three of the CDI
He did
games.
runs, but he never did very good runs, and those are his own words, not mine. That's him. You got these. You guys should watch the cartoon of Zelda as well.
It's a good cartoon.
Been there, done that.
There's some really fantastic lines in it. My favorite is the bad guy that isn't Ganon. I don't think it's actually, it might be Ganon, the wizard dude. He's really mad at a bird or something that doesn't do what he wants it to do, and he yells at it to get back in the evil jar. And it's a reference I make everywhere on the off chance that I find someone who knows it, but so far it's fallen on deaf ears. Yeah, yeah, I mean,
Wow.
it's worth it. It's worth it, and it's worth like watching all these cutscenes too. It's great. I'll grab my stuff. Yeah, you can't beat it. Anyway, Mega Man. Yes, Mega Man.
Yes,
Any
Mega
kind of
Man. Do you have
arbitrary
anything more
code
to add to that?
execution. Yeah, no, that's it. All right, next one. No, it's arbitrary code execution, 326 by Megara, in 1. This is a decent run. Sloppy bean grab and a trolley met, and a trolley met
Trolley?
with slow.
Something
Oh.
that trolls a lot is trolley.
No, but this is a, so we want a noun here.
It's a trolley.
So,
It's a trolley
it's-
met. It's a met that's
It's a trolley
trolling.
met.
what's a trolley met?
It's a baseball team. Mets.
There you go.
I thought it was. I'm gonna go and say it my way. It was a sloppy bean grab and a trolley met with slow bullet buttons. Cost me 10 seconds. Thanks to for the Gutsman stage guide and Blubber for the Elecman stage pro strats. Also, hello to all slot machine addicts. Oh, there you go. Do you call them trolleys in America, or are trolleys the San Francisco tram system?
Trolleys
cool.
are a thing.
Oh, shopping carts. That's what you call them, right? Do you call those trolleys as
No.
well? Oh,
No.
that's a trolley. That's what I was confused at. It's not spelled correctly, but that's the closest I can get to making sense of that first sentence.
I thought we were actually going to agree on terminology for a moment, and then you said the shopping cart part.
Oh, right. What's the other trolley then? You mean?
Trolley, like a big,
tram.
yeah, that you can ride in, like a big
Oh,
car.
no,
that you can ride in.
those are called trams, silly.
Oh, they're trams. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we invented both the tram and the trolley, so we
What?
we
What are
named
those
them
things
both.
like? What do you call like gondolas?
The cable cars.
Oh, okay.
I mean, technically they're called gondolas, but everyone calls them cable cars. 'Cause they hang
Everyone?
on cables. Everybody.
Everyone.
Literally
Okay.
everyone. Because gondolas are the boats in Venice.
Sure.
That's what people think of when you say gondola.
Right.
You know, in Venice, the boats where they push them with a stick instead of, you know?
Yeah, that's gone.
Whatever. Anyway, let's get on the line. Right, so you're learning all sorts of words, you guys. Anyway, let's move on to Mega Man 10. LLC, tell us about Mega Man 10.
Okay, we got Mega Man 10, played on the Wii, any percent, by Chlorate, got a 3434. So they have two notable improvements in this run. Instead of using an M tank to refill your weapons in the Wily stages, a few pickups are collected and the smaller W tank is used instead. So that saves about 5 seconds. Faster final boss manipulation saves another 2 seconds. Overall, good execution, good boss luck, but it could be better. Almost 20 seconds of execution errors in this run, and more to save with better luck, which is crazy. And I'm still having fun. Hope to push this time even lower.
Yeah. This
So
is
I
a
guess
cool
different
game.
strat for getting.
Yeah. Playing better, I suppose. If there's 20 seconds of execution errors. I want to watch. I love the Nitro Man fight. Dude, he landed on him and he exploded. But yeah, this is a really cool Mega Man. I think it's a fun run to watch. It's cool to play. It's pretty light on glitches. There's no real zipping in it, as far as unless I really misremembering. I'm pretty sure there isn't. There's some cool boss fights. Like, well, nearly all of them are cool.
Yeah, they look really
Speedrun.
intense.
You're seeing them all now. They're all very quick. And then the wily manipulation, which without it, you can lose a lot of time. He spawns in the wrong spot and you can't shoot him. I think it's 2. Is it 2 phases? I think it's two waves or whatever.
I think he did it in 2 right there. Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to 3 or 5, I think, which you can do if you don't manipulate. And I think that's frame based when you enter the room or something. So something like that. Anyway. There you go. Congratulations to
Chlorate.
Chlorate, not colorate. Okay, Chlorate. Okay, next up we got Muppet Race Mania PS1 All Stunts to 749 by Cyberdemon531, who says Yoshi Pro 101 had the idea of switching the level order to get better cycles, which leads to around 17 seconds improvement over the last week. Although this run has a fatal mistake on the mountain level, which is not quite perfect yet. Also SGDQ hype, just shove that in there.
Right.
Yeah, why not? Why
Sure.
not? Like, you need, yeah, do it. Safe.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, these skips are battling with me right now. I finished them and I'm not sure if it was a good idea to eat them all. But anyway, that's enough about skips.
What's going
I just want to know what you think these flavors going to taste like. Let's give this one to Feasel, because you've played a Ninja Gaiden game before.
I have played a Ninja Gaiden game, actually, several. Alright, let me get this video playing. Well, here we have Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos for the NES. This is an any percent run in 10 minutes 20 seconds by Jimmy Poopins. He says, let's see, beats the old time by about 1.5 seconds, but mostly due to new strats. I hit all of the 5 new strats in the run, thanks to Jorf, Kartina Cow, and Ohan. My Act 3 was very poor, plus 3.6 over my gold split, but everything else was very good, including a gold Act 5 and a gold Act 7. I'm still going for sub 1020, and hopefully we'll get it soon. He's at 1020, and his goal is sub 1020, so that just shows you what level of optimization we're talking about in these Ninja Gaiden games.
Honestly, I'm just happy with anything that beats my time.
Oh, yeah.
That's my goal. That's just my goal. Do better next time. Yeah, good luck to you, Jimmy. It's a little while since I've seen a Ninja Gaiden 2 run.
2? We were getting some runs of 2, I guess it was last year sometime, right?
Yeah. Well, last year was a while ago.
I guess it was.
Because in my world it was, in your world obviously not so much.
Obviously.
Anyway, we got 2 Ori and the Blind Forest runs. They don't have any comments or anything, but we got an All Cells in 5905 and an any percent in 3634 by Jumpman. Game keeps dropping down. It was like 50 minutes when it was submitted for ESA, and we had like a 47 or 48 minute time. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then it's now 36 minutes 34.
Yeah, 36
And
minutes.
yeah, so people keep they're really looking into this one quite intensely, like a non-linear platformer. But yeah, good job, Jumpman. We also got Paladin's Quest, SNES, 80% in 347.17 by Dragon Dark. If this turns out to be a Chrysalis clone, I'm sorry, we'll see. It seems I get the best runs when I'm half asleep. Hey! He said that
What?
again.
No, he said derusting last time.
Oh no, he also said half asleep. So there you go. So this is an improvement to my old PB by around 39 minutes. Okay. A lot of that time gain being from not having a few very costly deaths and general optimization everywhere. There's still a fair bit of time to be gained, though sub 340 is definitely doable, so for now I'll be aiming for that. There you go. Oh no, this game. Okay, Feasel, you do Panic Restaurant. Actually, no,
Panic Restaurant.
Rudyxx do Panic Restaurant. That makes sense,
Right.
doesn't it?
Why does that make sense?
Because he has a
I
restaurant.
work in a Yeah,
There
I
you
work in a
go.
restaurant.
Okay.
There you go.
Duh.
See? He also
Obvious.
panics a lot.
That's my job. Just panic and run around, freak out.
Yeah.
It's a good time. In fact, this guy, Eggman, managed to finish Panic Restaurant in
In a better
14,
time,
14.
right? Right?
Yeah.
You gotta say that. In a
Sorry. It's
That's
disappointing.
okay. That's
I
fine.
get paid hourly, so I gotta take as long as possible. He says here, I adapted a few more ideas from the tasks and ended up with this very nice run. This run is now 1 second off my summer best.
That's nice.
Good job, Eggman, playing a restaurant game.
Yeah. that genre, that much maligned subgenre, restaurant games. I remember reading about a game from Japan where you just made beef bowls for like people. It may have even been like licensed as a beef bowl game from a beef bowl restaurant. And I just remember one, being very hungry after reading the review of this beef bowl game, and two, just desperately wanting to play a restaurant game. I'm not sure I ever have. I think the closest I come to
Never.
playing a restaurant game is playing the Licky Tongue minigame from Pokemon Stadium.
I
Have you ever
recommend
played,
Cooks Are Delicious.
Burger Time?
Burger Time.
Burger
Oh,
Time,
yeah.
that sort of restaurant game.
Oh, Burger Time, yeah. Scary burger game, but yeah. All right. No segue here. Segue not found. Sorry. They've got Pretty Can I Really Be the Hero? This is the Vita. So it's PSP on Vita. This is Hell's Finest New Game Plus 3522 by Pink Pajamas. So this is a platform. Is this? Oh yeah, because that is ILs. Okay, never mind. This is a platform with mechanics inspired by Ghosts and Goblins. It's sort of a mascot platformer. It's sort of the Prinnies from the Disgaea series. Hell's Finest is the hard difficulty where you die in one hit. The only advantage New Game Plus gives you is difficulties that let you skip the tutorial stage. This run has about 35 deaths, which weren't too costly, but still not pretty. There was no real section in this run, but that was amazing, but no section was absolutely atrocious. I've still got a ways to go with this game. This game's pretty cool. It's a pretty fun game.
It's got a lot of checkpoints, so you can
Yeah, a lot of
take
checkpoints.
deaths.
But yeah, if you're learning, the idea obviously is you want to skip the checkpoints because you actually have to stop and hit them otherwise. It's a pretty cool game. There's some really interesting stuff with the bosses where the Prinnies attack in the air allows you to mash and you shoot, I don't know, crescent swipes at enemies. But if you're close enough to hit them with your sword as well, you do double damage. Then it's about staying in the air and mashing super hard. So there's some cool stuff on that one. It's a fun game. Fun fact about this, which maybe I've said before, it was the first game I verified for STA. So there you go. That's a fun fact. Right, Risk of Rain. Let's give this one to... Oh no, yeah, they are two separate categories. Man, we're just blasting through handing these to you guys. Cordellium.
Sure. Okay,
Risk
so
of
for
Rain.
Risk of Rain, we have 2 runs from Onin. First is the any % monsoon run in 1211. And he says that I got back on the Risk of Rain grind after finding a new application for a glitch. We used to use the marble item to teleport into Providence's room, but I found a setup to use the game's inherent out-of-bounds correction teleport to do the same. This allows me to enter the Providence fight with a different use item, one that can actually deal damage. The best choice here is Fireworks strat. I take the skeleton, which opens all chests on screen, and the fireworks, which spawns missiles from every chest you open, to nuke down Providence's 3rd phase in one shot. Portal luck was decent, the Providence fight was amazing. Sub 12 should be possible with a perfect run, but it's going to be hard, and I'm putting most of my effort into beating the any % run. So then for his any % run, he got a 933, and he says that he got a 3-second improvement over my previous record. Lost 2 seconds on the Providence fight because I thought I died already. The run is awful. Sub 930 incoming.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, congrats on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, only is going to be going to ESA, which is annoying because we got to get some PAL PCs in from somewhere, and I'm not sure where we're going to find them. But they'll be out there somewhere. We just got to bring them with us, I suppose. Speaking of looking for things, we got Space Hunter, right? Hey, there you go. This is anyone who has a large collection of games probably can sympathize with the title of this game, which I'm assuming it's not going to be what the game's about, maybe the other type of space. This is any percent Japanese 1158 by Tristan, who says, like a few other games I've laid down runs for, Space Hunter showed up on someone's stream and I just had to give it a root. In this case, this is Gilda's fault. This is a slick little speed game though, and I'm glad to show it off. The run is about 5 seconds slower than my summer best, and has stayed that way for 2 months. I've been trying to squeeze out one last final PB. Every indoor fight is random in some way, where it counted, the RNG gods were most kind. That's nice. 5 seconds slower than your summer best. It's always nice to get that close.
We've had quite a number of those this week. They're like 2 seconds on one.
Oh, right. I thought you were going to say Gilda games. Games that are Gilda's fault. Yeah.
Just the close ones.
All right. Okay. Hang on. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Fizzle.
Yes.
That's your best Uncle Fester impression. I don't know if Uncle Fester spoke like that.
I don't think that he did, but
Oh.
yes. All right. Well, we've got Spec Ops: The Line for PC. This is an 90% run in 1 hour 51 minutes 11 seconds by the Englishman. He says, as I died yet again during a particularly bad portion of the run, the loading screens quite literally insult me. This is all your fault, they say. If you were a better person, you wouldn't be here. Do you feel like a hero yet? They're meant to shame me into questioning the morality of the actions I'm performing in the name of helping my protagonist feel like the hero he so obviously isn't. But I secretly like to think the game is taunting me until I've actually gotten good at this run. Either way, it's working, as you can tell by the above paragraph. This is a pretty sloppy run, but it had a few excellent parts that redeemed it, or at least made it submittable. Sub 150 is still tantalizingly out of reach. I'll get there eventually. I like his optimism.
A quick question. Is someone in your apartment complex playing the piano?
Well, there's music playing from next door that's kind of coming over.
It sounds like someone nearby is just practicing the piano. Oh, okay. That's fine. Cool. Good job, Englishman. This looped. I saw it end. It's fine. Okay. Rudyxx, you can do Star Fox 64.
Sweet. My favorite auto scroller. We got Star Fox 64 for the Nintendo 64. 100% run. Done in 1 hour, 18 minutes, 51 seconds by Zalag1. Says, came back to this on a whim and broke the previous world record by almost a minute and a half in one attempt. After giving it some more attempts, I ended up getting a sub 119, which is pretty great. Had some bad luck on some bosses, but had some exceptional stages like Bulls and Venom 2 that made up for it, and then some. I'm submitting this to SDA.
Wish I could come back to a game and beat it so comfortably and happily and then do well enough to submit it to SDA just like that.
Is 100% where you go through the game 3 times, or?
I guess you do every stage, yeah.
I mean, do you just
I
play
would imagine
through?
so.
I don't know. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. How
Is
many
that
lines
I
are there?
don't
There's
think you
2
can-
lines, right?
You
3
can't
lines,
go
sorry.
back to previous stages, can you? I don't remember.
Oh, you can't. You can only play through in a row.
Oh, so you just play through the game 3 times and not do the last stage until the end, I assume?
Let's go with yes.
Good job.
Even though time-wise that doesn't add up very well. So it's 30 minutes. I don't know. Let's go with yes. Either way, he's fighting Star Wolf, sorry. Which was always really hard for me. And now I get to remember what Star Wolf's team were called. Leon, Chameleon, Andrew. And I forgot Pigba is the other one, right? I think I saw. I don't know what Andrew is as an animal. There's Pigma. Pigma's going down. Oh, no, only the Andrew already died. Oh no, there's Andrew. Oh, damn it. Is Andrew just a person with a hat?
Maybe he's a robot.
Dude, okay, he could be a robot. Dude, what? This game is so weird when I see this path. The hard pathway.
I just looked it up, and he is, in fact, a monkey.
He's a monkey? Huh. That's basically a human, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it is, like, mostly.
He's a little bit hairier and has a tail. Pretty much Goku, I assume.
Yeah, that guy from Gundam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Alright. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. This one, LC. See, I knew I'd get it wrong at some point. LCC. Here you go.
Alright.
You got Super Mario Bros. FDS, which I don't know what FDS does. Famicom Disk System. There you go.
Right.
Bam. Minus world ending is the goal. Time is 2 hours 35. Or no.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Wait, 2 minutes 35. There's three numbers and it gets me confused, man.
Yeah, no, it's because there's only.
I'm like, wait a minute, Mario Brothers in 2 hours. What's going on? So the explanation for this category is this is a re-release for the Famicom Disk System of this game. It's almost identical except for the minus world, which is different and can be completed. As the actual number of this world is higher than 7, completion of it gets treated the same as completing world 8, meaning you return to the title screen. The game is in hard mode and level selection is unlocked, but you do not get the victory message. The run is almost flawless for big Mario strats. A major improvement would be doing the wall clip in 1-2 as small Mario, but that's hard.
I remember
Minus
this
world.
now. Yeah, this is a Blobler run. I remember this. This is.
So it's the case that this can be done on the US version, it's just that you can't actually beat the game, but that's why you do the FDS version, because it can be completed. Is that the idea? I think it's something like that.
I don't know, but the way he said it, he said it's identical except for the minus world. Just made it sound like they added this in. What? Was it made, the minus world? Like, is it actually a thing in the game?
I don't think it's intentional. I think this is just like, you know, wrongly interpreting memory values in some way to
Right.
get this.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. Alright, cool. And I imagine by the say, like, which is different and can be completed, I imagine maybe it looks slightly different and yeah, you can actually finish it. So there you go. Good job, Blobler. It's weird. I just remember, as soon as you came out of that pipe and started flying and or swimming in air, I was like, oh yeah, I know this game, or this category. All right, who's next? Cordellium. Here we go. Super Spy Hunter.
Okay, so for Super Spy Hunter, we got an any % run in 2605 by Zaki the Gotragan. Saved at 31.5 seconds over my last PB, had some mistakes on the last stage, and played it safe on one of the bosses during the final boss rush, but otherwise an okay run, and a seemingly much better job of lag management. By far the best part was stage 2 though. I didn't smash into any of the walls during the road forks, though I side-swiped one, and my routing for the sand whirlpools paid off, though I messed up slightly at first. Topping it all off, the boss fight was really good. I timed the kill shot on the boss perfectly, preventing it from drifting slowly before exiting the screen and delaying stage completion. Sub 26 is definitely possible, but I'm taking a short breather before taking on that challenge.
So I just have to look something up, so someone else needs to talk for a minute. Hang on.
I'm talking.
Or we can just watch this awesome driving.
What a great driving sequence.
Oh, quicksand. Such a staple of the 20th century. I don't know.
A lot of NES games have like desert levels, or with cars. There's always a desert level with any sort of racing game or Spy Hunter or whatever this is.
It's really sort of like a shmup, it seems like.
Yeah, looks like that.
But either way, it's a big improvement over the original Spy Hunter, I gotta say. But congrats, Zachy, on another excellent NES speedrun. This guy's been just on a tear, just doing one NES game after another.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely, I think this is the third time we've seen Super Spy Hunter submitted from him, I think.
Definitely at least the second.
Yeah, so he's definitely got to put some work in on this.
I think there's a few different Spy Hunters that he's done. I feel like you guys had like the SNES
I feel like he
one
hasn't.
here and,
I feel like this isn't the normal one, Super.
yeah.
I feel like it's normal Spy Hunter we've had before.
I don't think we ever had normal Spy Hunter on here. I'm not sure. I think this is the only Spy Hunter game we've had.
Okay. Well, anyway, we have The Flash now. Another Sega Master System game. We're rolling into these. It's an 80% in 1318 by RoboSparkle, who says this is undoubtedly the fastest, if not the shortest game on the Sega Master System. It's not true. It's not the shortest. Because the Batman game is like 2 minutes at least. There's got to be a shorter one. He says, I first played this on Monday with the Master System crew in a blind race and picked it up to run. It stars everybody's favourite red Batman as he goes fast and throws flasherangs at vehicles. It even comes with its own flash face. There is a super speed mechanic and a number of damage boosts that lead to unintentional shortcuts. The biggest of these is the final level. The game attempts to troll you at the start by leading you to a dead end and teasing you with the exit with the damage boost. You can skip the entire level of these. The bosses are entirely RNG and 4/6 of them gave me okay attack patterns. Or sorry, 4 of 6 then. I think I can get sub 13 with my current route and tighter execution. But yeah, this was a surprise to me that this game existed. Because, like, just watching it, this is ridiculously fast.
Yeah, for this old of a game, you don't really get that too often.
No, not this level of speed.
No,
like,
this
it would
is
normally
like-
slow down horribly.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like more Genesis style, Mega Drive style, almost.
Yeah.
It's faster than Sonic.
It's true.
It is, like, look how much faster than Sonic it is as well, though. Like,
Although Sonic can go off the screen in Sonic 2, so I mean, there's that.
yeah, but the screen's slow. It doesn't matter how fast Sonic is, if the screen's slow enough. That's the flash face, I'm assuming, in the corner there. Ha ha. This will be the trick then. Yeah, there you go. It wants you to run the other way. There you go. Interesting. Interesting, Robo. Another thing, this is off the list because George was slow, but George improved his Tony Hawk's 3 run, believe it or not. Like, it's now 349. So if you want to watch an even cleaner run of one of the most clean runs ever before, yeah, he improved it. And I would say like a chunk of that, believe it or not, is from better menuing in Tony Hawk. So there you go. Good job, George. I was pretty shocked when I saw that happen. Okay, we have 4 runs left to talk about. Oh.
So Trag is one of my favorite games of
There
all
you go.
time.
That's good. That works.
And Caveman DCJ broke his record again. He got a new 80% record at 51:10. He says, good run. Movement and boss RNG were both good enough to get a decent time. Sub 51 would be a nice time to have, but I would need to become some sort of tank god. I've come up with a bunch of new optimizations and strats, but at the end of the day, all the bosses are coin flips, so it's up to them. See what I can do closer to SGDQ, but for now I want to play other things. Caveman's actually been working. He's actually been working on this game for several years now. I remember seeing it on the show. Yeah, I remember seeing it on the show, like one of the earlier, like single-digit episodes, probably like a really long time ago. So he's definitely
it was single digit. It was definitely a while back, the first time.
But it's he mentioned becoming some sort of tank god. This is because this is one of those like Resident Evil style clones that uses the tank controls, which are kind of annoying.
Oh, right.
And all the combat is like hand-to-hand combat, basically. So you have to like run up and punch things and stuff.
Did he ever get his 8 legs of spider speedrunning thing complete? I wonder if he did. I doubt it, but I wonder if he did. All right.
Spider.
Okay. LCC. You can have this one with the word in the title.
Ooh, Wordtress.
Yeah.
For Super Nintendo Entertainment
Oh.
System.
Please don't tell me this is what I think it is.
Expert percent. Ooh. 1439 by Josh Boutreau. It's a game that combines following blocks of Tetris.
Oh, it
with
is.
The words of Scrabble. Oh, I
It's
think this was
word
in
with
Mystery
Tetris.
Tournament, wasn't it?
This looks really hard. To have to try to make words with the letters popping down at that speed.
Yeah, this is definitely a Mystery Tournament. So it's Tetris like Scrabble. Goal of the game is to start at level A and progress to level J. Since J is infinite, this run changes the difficulty to the highest setting and sets a time limit of 15 minutes to complete the game. 139 total words are required to be spelled to progress through the game. On expert difficulty, words are required to be a minimum of 4 letters long.
This looks horrible.
Yeah, you can spell them vertically and horizontally.
I'm pretty sure
That's
I would
correct.
just move things and like
Yeah.
just drop vowels between consonants and just hope it spells a word for me.
Sometimes that works.
I think that's what he's doing for part of this. He's just trying to
bomb.
put the
Yes,
letters,
bomb.
distribute them right, so you're likely to get words.
Yeah. This looks nuts. Look at that. INIMAIIAI. I wouldn't be able to do this at all. I'm awful at like anagrams and stuff like that. But so does he have to get every word?
I think he has to get a certain number of them, right?
Yeah, okay.
There's
Yeah,
139 total are required. So
I love all the
Oh,
pictures in this
what?
game. Just look at
oh,
them.
what is this, a cloud play? I just noticed that.
There's a lot of amazing pictures in this game. Oh my god.
Aria? Really? Saw? Okay, I was gonna say if it has Aria and not Saw, I'm gonna flip. And no, I don't know, man. How does he do it?
There's
If
trouble
he's
at the
not
top. I
just
think if you
moving
spell that, you
things
actually get like a
randomly.
bonus or something. I forget though.
Yeah. Arile? A-R-I-L-E? Was that a word?
It was
Riled up.
Whatever.
it was
I don't know.
2 words. It was Aril and Ryle, A-R-I-L, which I don't know what that word is, and R-I-L-E. He was 2 words at once.
Wait, what's
see.
Arrow though?
That's
Yeah, I don't
interesting.
know.
You can double up like that.
That's why I hate these games and I hate Scrabble. Because you can put in a thing and it's like, yeah, that's a word. It's like, is it though? Arrow?
Look it up in the dictionary. There it is.
That doesn't
Dang.
help though.
A-R-I-L,
If I don't know
what does it
what the
mean?
word is, it doesn't matter if it's in the dictionary or not. It shouldn't be allowed and stuff like this.
I see.
Like, I had a game of Scrabble once where someone put N-A down and it said nah, Scottish word for no. And it accepted nah. And I was like, this
That's
this
not
game
English,
is
though.
bullshit. It's like N-A. Nah. How's that the Scottish word for
Nah.
no?
Well, that's why real Scrabble players like agree on what dictionary they're going to use ahead of time, so
No,
you
this
don't
is what
have
the Scrabble
fights over
game
things like that.
decided on it. It was a digital Scrabble or something. So it was in the dictionaries. Yeah, Scottish word for no. It was like, no, it's not. Get the fuck out of here. And I wanted to put in something else, and it was like, nah, it's not a real word. Bullshit. It's stupid. If you like Scrabble, no. No.
this
Silly,
next game is
silly
great.
game.
No, just
Hey,
no.
yeah, let's move on. Let's move on
You
before
made
Scrabble
Penguin.
makes us
You
all
made
fight
Penguin
each other.
Monogatari. Best game
Yep,
ever.
Go for it.
NES. 80%, 10 minutes, 5 seconds by Cartina the Cow. Overall, a great run. Some improvements over the old world record that was 6 years old. Wow. New strategies, especially
was
stage
it?
1 and 5. Really enjoyed running the game. Shouts to Backslash, Megara, and TLD for their help and support. Yeah,
Wait,
this
the old-
game, fantastic.
The old
Just
record
look at
can't have
it.
been 6 years old because we've had this on the show, right? Or did we have a different
Did we?
console version of it?
I'm not sure that we did.
I'm pretty confident we've had a. Oh no, wait, did we have Pen? We had a different Japanese Penguin game.
Ninpen Manmaru?
Yeah, sorry. It's got the M and it's got Penguin.
Quizabuck, best word.
Never mind. Never mind.
A really big problem. Quizabuck.
It's not a real word though, is it?
Sure it is.
I mean, it's the word that was specifically dug up so that people can win a Scrabble. And then they're like, no, I use it all the time. Like, if you didn't know what the word was before Scrabble, it shouldn't be allowed in Scrabble. That's the rule. Like, if you like put it down, you're like, oh, that's a word, and there's like, you look in the Scrabble dictionary, and it's got it. It's not. They're not real words. You don't use them. Let them die. Don't just have them in your memory so you can win like 60 points on Scrabble, then act all like you know what the word means. I hate Scrabble, Fiesel. I hate Scrabble. It's banned Scrabble from this stream. Good stuff. Okay, final one. Well, I just give it to Cordellium just for rounding out.
Sure. So Zelda 2 on NES, 100% all keys in 1:15:47 by Pro JN, and there are no comments. So
No, I watched him do it though.
Did you?
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely been trying hard to get this. He was going after, I think it was, oh, I don't even want to guess. Wait, it was Simple Dude that had this, right?
He didn't say in the thing because I was waiting for him to say who he beat, and he never did.
I know the time was in the
Simple
low,
Dude sounds right.
the low 1:15:50s. I think it was like a 1:15:52 or something like that. And Jan for a while was trying to cut 1:16, and he had a bunch of runs that were really close. And I knew that just one of these days we would see it, and it looks like he did. Congrats, Jan.
Yeah, Cheyenne is really good at Zelda 2.
He's good at having all the top times in all the categories. But
Yeah, him and the other Zelda 2 guys, for those of you who don't know, a few years ago, turned it from like, oh, haha, have you seen Zelda 2? What a silly Zelda game, to one of the just like really great speedruns up there. You know, really transformed how people looked at the game from being a funny, silly little Zelda game to being genuinely impressive speedrun stuff.
yeah, the category of 100% all keys has also come a long way in the last couple of years as well. I mean, it started out as a Twin Galaxies category or something like that, I think. And people sort of latched onto it because it was an interesting way to show off all the parts of the game, really not skipping anything. And right now, it's, I think, the most popular category of Zelda 2, as far as the ones with the most runners in it. If you look at any of the leaderboards for it, this thing has got like 10 times as many runs as any other category. But it's because it's pretty accessible to beginners, and a lot of people have been doing races of it. So, pretty important category, and now JN's got the #1 time in it.
There it is. It's he wants to do 2 players 1 controller with bad breaks at ESA for this category.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a long game to do with 2 players with a controller.
Right. So we'll see. We got to see if they're up to standard first, but that's a possibility. So there you go. Hey guys, that's all the things. We did them all.
All of the things are done.
All of them done. Yeah, they're all done. Let's see how quickly I can remember everything. Thanks to our submitters. If you want to submit something, tssbreak.com, there's a submission form at the top there. It says submit a run or submit a game. Submit a run. And click on that and fill out the thing and get all that info out there. We'd like to thank our guests. We got LCC, Rudyxx, and Cordellium for bringing us Xenogears. Thank you guys.
No problem.
yeah, it was fun.
Good times for everyone.
There you go. Then we're going to run some ads at the end of the show. If you want to stick around and watch some ads, that'd be great. Also, you can subscribe if you want. I mean, it doesn't really, you know, if you want, go for it. We have one emote. We're too cool to care. No, we're stuck in that thing of we can't pretend to care because it wouldn't be cool, and then we'd be selling out, and that'd be evil, and we'd be the problem. We'd be killing speedrunning, right? That's how it works. I think that's how it works. So yeah, you know, do what you want. It's a free country, unless you're in a not free country, because it's the internet, so it might not be. And if it isn't, sorry for reminding you. Next week we don't have a plan yet, do we? I don't think so, but we'll work on something.
Yeah, we'll have something.
We'll have something. We'll have something good as well.
It could be you.
Hopefully, could be Panzer Dragoon again.
Oh.
It could be Panzer Dragoon Auto Part 2, right?
Yeah,
Saga.
of course.
Right. No, next week will be our
Saga,
second part of the 20-part series on Xenogears.
Yeah. Every hour of the run examined in excruciating detail.
Just get Sean Cass on just to explain the story.
Yeah.
We'd like to remind you about RPG Limit Break on Tuesday, starting Tuesday. It's going to be on the RPG Limit Break channel, which I can slowly type out now.
Excellent.
type it out because I remember it. There you go. Oh, I added an E. Oh, I wrote limite break. Oh no. Well, you can get to it from there.
Take out
You guys-
E.
I can't take out the E. I can't do it now.
Can't copy and paste it.
Well, I can.
I
No,
can.
dude.
Oh my goodness.
Fine, Jesus Christ. Oh, there you go.
Good
Someone
try.
else did it. Nice. We're gonna play some ads after the show. Are we gonna raid someone? Is the question.
Oh, we are
raid
going to
someone?
raid somebody, aren't we?
Are we? We normally do.
We normally do. We should decide who.
Oh, that rhymed. Dr. Zeus. Does Zeus rhyme there? Not really. Close enough. Let's see. Let's have a quick look here.
Mm-hmm.
I got
Hey,
one.
hey, whoa, I got one.
Whoa.
I got one. Hang on.
One of our guests has the hookup here.
Oh wait, one of the guests has a hookup.
Yeah.
I had a hookup too.
I
Do you
got
want to
one.
battle out for the hookups? Let's do it.
What's your
This is
suggestion?
That's my suggestion. Because we were just talking
Because we were
about
just
it.
talking about him? Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
What's the other
guest
suggestion?
suggestion?
All right.
Oh, have you got it? Or oh, whatever. We'll go with mine. you doing it? You posting it? Whatever.
I got nobody.
No,
Oh, you got
nothing.
nobody. Oh,
All right.
okay.
We're
I got
going with
nobody.
I've got
So-
DKC3 and SMRPG. That's all I've got.
So, we got we're gonna raid Simple Dude. Here, he's doing runs of Zelda. Although we were just talking about it. We were just talking about it. It's 100% all keys. We just literally spoke about that. You're gonna raid him with a message. Wait, what did I say? Gundam official killing unit. That's gonna be our raid message.
Okay. I'm sure
Which
that'll
is
make a lot of
Goku,
sense.
which is the real name of Goku. He'll probably figure it out as soon as we write it. He'll be like, ah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So there you go. That's our raid message. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week for something. And thanks once again to our guests. Goodbye.
The Sunday sequence break.